Hey guys, welcome to Coffee and Kalashnikovs. I'm Chris, your host, and we are back for another night of talk, fun, your comments. That's the most fun. And we got a lot to talk about. One event in particular, I hope you all enjoyed the video of the 2A EDU get together. We had a great time in Michigan and got to see a bunch of the guys. And I see Ross is in here, so that's good. Good to see you again, Ross, or talk to you again. I can't see you. You can see me, hopefully, if all is going well. Pillbox Bunker's in here. What do you know? Let me tell you something, guys. This is 2 years in a row. Pillbox and his wife have put on a heck of a show, let me tell you. And it's everybody getting together there. I'm sure there's so much planning that I didn't get or don't get to see behind the scenes getting ready for it, and the food, and just getting enough tables and chairs and getting the shooting line set up, and uh, people donating prizes. And you know how it goes. You got to talk to your neighbors, tell them that no, it's not Red Dawn, just a couple friends coming over, that kind of thing. And it really probably did sound like Red Dawn from a couple other vantage points, perhaps, but it was good. So I wanted to thank them for their hospitality. Nothing short of amazing. Plenty of parking, and it's just a great area. He lives in an area kind of like I do. It's very, you could almost transplant them state to state. It's a nice thing to live rural, let's say. Rural. There we go. What do you want from a city boy? I grew up in the city, and I swear when I moved out here, that first summer, getting things ready. Now, I was always mechanically inclined. I was a automotive mechanic in my former life. That's what all I wanted to do in life, was be a auto mechanic, build race cars like any other red-blooded American teenager. Pontiacs happened to be my thing, and so I had that going for me. I wasn't completely moronic. But when I moved to the country, and you got to start dealing with stuff like, bobcats and backhoes and tractors and all this stuff, I thought I was Mr. Rural Farmer when I bought my Cub Cadet lawn tractor. I remember looking at it in the garage going, look at the size of that thing. Well, 20 years later, and a whole bunch of antique tractors and driving big tractors, and even a combine here and there I drove. But I swear my neighbors used, on Saturday or Sunday mornings, they would get out their lawn chairs and a big bowl of popcorn and sit at the front of their property and go, all right, what's city boy going to do this week? Yeah, let's see. The best one comes to mind was flipping over a bobcat upside down. I was building a track out back for the kids, and had just finished building a double, and I was rolling the face of it up and down, and I must have got distracted. And as I went up, I pulled back on the sticks, and that sucker went over. And that was the longest second and a half of my life. It seemed like about 10 minutes as it kadoom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And I ended up crumpled up in the roof of it. And, hot diesel oil, coolant, all kinds of fun stuff pouring all over me. I just remember getting really hot, and then them thinking, if I make a wrong move and I hit a stick, I might just cut my leg off or an arm off or God knows what. And I couldn't quite get out of the position I was in because I was crumpled on my head in the cab upside down. I couldn't get out. And I worked for what seemed like eternity to get out. I finally was able to, with all my might, reach up and hit the key and shut it off. And there's a reason they tell you wear those lap bars, but who needs those? And so I go stumbling up to the house, and my wife comes out, And I am literally, you talk about these politicians wearing blackface. Well, I was solid jet black. You guys know what diesel oil gets like, right? All you could see was my teeth, and I think half of those were black. It was in my mouth, my ears, my nose. I was drenched, covered, completely black. My wife walks out of the door into the garage, takes one look at me, doesn't say a word, just goes, "Oh my God, the bobcat," and goes running because we had rented it. She thought I demolished it. Didn't care what happened to me. And then the kids got off the bus, and as they pulled up, they were proceeding to tell the bus driver and all the kids on the bus, "My dad rolled the bobcat." So in a town of 982 people, I was pretty famous for a couple of weeks. But hey, what are you going to do? Anyhow, let's get into guns. So yeah, me and Pillbox live kind of similar areas, just a state or two away. Or kind of live straight across the lake, I guess. He's south of me, though. I'm way north of there. Anyhow, I'm like even with maybe Gaylord, Sault Ste. Marie, something like that, up that way where it's cold. You guys got snow? We got snow today. It's getting there. It's going to be 5 degrees tonight, I believe. But yeah. So I don't know how many of you guys knew. I don't think that 2A EDU put out to the public just who was going to show up there. He may have said I was going to be there or something, or hoped I'd be there or something. But I don't think he put out there that Chris from what the hell is his channel again? From I can't recall it at the moment. My God, I swear I'm losing it. It's early Alzheimer's setting in. I can't. I can have it on the tip of my tongue and it's gone. Firearm. What the hell is it? Anyhow, Chris. I don't think he told anybody he was going to be there, let alone what he was going to bring. So I didn't say a word last week, just that there'd be a special guest, and we see how it all went. So I was planning on leaving early, and somehow in my head, I'm subtracting the hours it's going to take, how long to get ready, get the car loaded, drive, all this stuff. I backed into it and set my alarm. And it was really late when I went to bed and I didn't set it right. And then it went off and I snoozed and whatever. By the time I got going, I was like 3 hours late. Matter of fact, I texted him and said, I'm not going to be there till like 3 o'clock. It started at noon. Are you guys still going to be there? Because it gets dark out so early. I said, yeah, we'll be there. So I get in the car, I go. I get all the way down through Wisconsin, through Illinois, into Indiana. And I'm driving. I look at the radio and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God, the time changed. Now I'm an hour later, 4 hours late. And you have no idea how bad I wanted to go, because to shoot that gun, 2 of them actually, because I'll get into that, but I did not want to miss out on this opportunity. How many opportunities in a lifetime does a guy have to shoot stuff of that status, right? I'm like, I was so disappointed. And literally, I was about to turn around. I was looking for an exit ramp. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go and I'm going to drive faster. So I'm just flying to get there. And I came out a different way because last year I had stayed in Michigan at my daughter's. And I came in from a different direction from Grand Rapids. And I was all turned around. And when I thought I had 20 minutes to go, I still had like 40 minutes to go. And anyhow, I come pulling in and it's windy and it looks like rain. And I thought, man, he's probably gone. Yeah, I don't know if he waited for me specifically, but hey, he was there. And first thing I did was grab my grand ammo and run for the tables back there. I kind of knew the setup from last year. And I'm like, hey, hi, where's Chris? It's funny. But then things calmed down. Everybody was still shooting and all, although I felt like I held up the food on everybody. But so I apologize for that if I did. Anyhow, got to see everybody. Most everybody was there from last year. It was good to see Jane again, although I wanted to talk to Jane a lot more. She is the coolest lady with the coolest stories. Some of her jobs in a company she owned, uh, there was so much cool stuff she's done, and just so much fun to talk to. And just everybody, man. It's so much fun. And we shot, and I thought, since I'm bringing the grand ammo, I'll bring my grand. Why not? I don't get to shoot it enough anyways. Other stuff takes precedence a lot of times, and I just like shooting it. And I had reloaded a bunch for it. I had like I thought I had like 3 boxes of new ammo and then reloads. I had 1 box of new ammo, and the rest were all reloads, but done exactly to grand specs, M2 ball specs, even the same powder. But I'm not gonna ask a guy with a very expensive rifle, "Hey, you mind if I shoot my reloads through this thing?" Of course he's gonna say no, no matter who you are or what you know. They don't know who you are, if you made a mistake or what. So I had the 1 box run through it, and I had one more box of new stuff, and I wanted to run it on fast, and I turned around and somebody's loading it in the grand and shot it. So no big deal. But and then I think I did shoot a no, that went through the grand. Anyhow, I brought the grand, and I brought my Galil Ace Gen 2 because we're an AK channel, and it was small, compact, easy to grab when I was running like a madman out the door. And of course, I brought the HK uh, MP5. Why not? That's always fun. And I had just reloaded a bunch of 9. Want to see how it ran, and it ran great. I didn't get to shoot enough of the other stuff. It was that took precedence, and then talking to everybody and watching them shoot all kinds of cool stuff. I really liked that. Not sure the gentleman's name that brought it, but he brought it both years. A little Smith & Wesson M&P in 22 long rifle, and it's got a suppressor, and it's just the coolest little thing, and it runs like nobody's business. I went up to the shooting line, and I let fly with 30 rounds out of that Galil, and it's so short, and fireballs and all that good stuff, and super loud. Like in the video, you can see I start shooting, and people start turning around and backing up, like, that's enough of this noise. Then right after that, Jane starts shooting with that suppressed 22, and it was like total night and day difference. You know what else was cool? 28 EDU ran 1,000 rounds right that day through his Palmetto State Armory AK. It was brand new, still had the tags on it, and he ran 1,000 rounds through it. No stoppages that I know of. Nothing like that. It just ran and ran and ran. And he showed it to me, and of course, I loved it right away. I would have, if I had something in that range, I might have said, "Hey, you want to trade?" Because it had the OD green furniture, and I'm a sucker for anything OD green. And I would have traded for that rifle. I said it last year. I'll say it again. He had a different rifle last year, but the finish on those rifles, they're coating them in a black Teflon. I think he said Teflon type of coating. I'm assuming similar to a Duracoat, Cerakote, whatever. And it's just gorgeous. It's deep. It's black, like ink, and just the right sheen, and it's a nice even coating. It really sets that gun off. And with that green furniture, it was awesome. And there was a young man there, shot it, and he was having a good time. And I went down there later to get my brass from the 30-06, and he was picking up brass, and I felt bad that I had to ask him for it, but I gave him a few because I guess he collects brass from every type of firearm he shoots, so he's got a collection of the brass. So gave him a handful of those, and he had a great time shooting that AK. He looked like a pro. I was shocked. Somebody up at the line helped him and got him going, and stood back and watched. But boy, he took charge and just was shooting away like he had, you know, like he had put 1,000 rounds through the thing. Anyhow, later, um, when everybody was gone, I was about to leave, and weather was super bad. Had a storm come up that the wind was blowing, guys. I tell you what, it had to be 50, 60 mile an hour gusts. And Pillbox has got a whole line of big trees down there, and they're tall. It's fairly old growth. And I thought, watch one of these things come down and kill me. And my wife gets a phone call. Yep. The rock killed at Pillbox's house by 2A with all the screen names. It'd be funny. But we were getting the chairs and tables put away. And thank God we didn't leave the guns down there. We had all taken them up, figuring we were going back to shoot after eating. But of course, one thing leads to another. It got dark, and we were talking and whatnot. So we had brought them up, but I had a box of ammo down there, and there were tripods, cameras, crap everywhere. We got it all put away in the dark, in the rain, with the wind. And after we got that all set, 2A says, hey, why don't you do locals, stay for locals? And I'm looking at my watch thinking, I got 8 hours home yet, man. I got no sleep. I drove 8 hours. I had a good time for a bunch of hours. Now I got to drive 8 hours back. It was daunting, to say the least, but I figured, you know what? I came all this way, big deal. In worst case scenario, I'll get a hotel room for the night or something. But yeah, we did the live stream. He got it going, even though he didn't have all his equipment. So it was a good learning experience too. He learned how to do it on his phone. And his daughter went live with him, so that was cool. She was cute. Man, she got big. And we got on there and we took apart that AK, and he asked me to jump in and take a look at it. And we looked at every part, the carrier, the bolt, looked at the firing pin tip and the protrusion and the rails and lugs, receiver, trunnion, tail, everything. I'll tell you what, guys, it looked like that gun had 2, 3, 4 mags through it. That was about it. Tiny bit of tail, tail smash a little bit, just a tiny bit. And that's usually where they stop. Obviously, with 1,000 rounds, I think it's done. I think it did what it was going to do, and that's that. And I don't think I have a single AK, even my Russian stuff, that doesn't have a little bit. And most of it's caused, at least on the import guns, I'll tell you exactly what it's caused by. And it used to be much worse. You don't see it anymore like you used to. You used to see it on everything, and some of them really bad. But that was back in the days of the Tapco G2 trigger. Those things were hardened to the bejesus, and they were much harder than the carrier. So that hammer just smashed the crap out of them every time the carrier came back and hit the hammer and reset. It flattened those things. And back in the day, I saw some just demolished. But today, you've got, FIME's got their trigger, and a lot of them are putting ALGs in now. Some, like Zastava, are coming with factory the triggers from the arsenal. They're using floor plates and other things in the mags to come up with the enough US parts, and you don't see it as much. But even on the Russians, everything, you get a tiny bit always. It's just one of those things. But the arsenals, the import guys, their hammers and their carriers are hardened very similarly, so that doesn't happen. But one's always going to be harder than the other, right? And that's what happens. Actually, I've been cleaning every gun I have. I had put it off, and a lot you shoot so often you say, I'm not going to clean. I'll clean it next time. 3 years later, you're still shooting the same whatever and hasn't been cleaned. Now, my scorpions, on the other hand, I shoot those a lot. Not much lately, but a lot. And they get filthy really fast from the nine. And those things have an issue, in case you guys didn't know, with the bolts. There's the little plunger built in the bolt that keeps it from firing until the gun's in battery, right? Well, that plunger gets pushed up as the bolt comes forward. That plunger gets pushed up by the hammer, and there's actually another little mechanism in there, but they're way too soft. And the bolt is actually, the bottom of the bolt where the hammer runs is smearing. And you get a little metal edge that flattens out, and that metal gets pushed out over the hole, the oval hole for that plunger. So if you have the oval hole like this, a little bit of that metal gets pushed out and slides over that hole and blocks it. So now the plunger can't come out. So it's always stuck in, and the gun can fire out of battery. Now, if it's far enough back, if it fires out of battery, you're just going to get hammer follow, right? But if it's far enough almost into battery and you pull the trigger and that plunger's stuck, bam, boom. And that's what you're seeing on these scorpions when you see videos of the sides of them. Before all this happened, I noticed mine and I'm like, oh, look at this. And I was kind of PO'd, I'm like, why is this bolt? I hardly have any rounds through it. And here's this bolt smearing this metal. And I took a Dremel and trimmed it out and got the plunger working and everything. Never thinking about really an out of battery thing, And I don't know, 6 months, a year later, all of a sudden everybody's talking about out of battery things and sides of receivers on these scorpions blowing out and everything. And I'm like, holy cow, that could happen to me. And I just saw one the other day, and when I'm cleaning it, it's happening again. There's a little more metal pushing out on my, what is it, the S2, the regular pistol. On my micro, it's happening a little, but not too bad. And I've actually shot that one more, but it's soft still. And I don't know I think if the gun fires out of battery like that, they've been pretty good about repairing or replacing them. But I don't want it to happen. How about I send you my bolt and you send me a new one, so the gun's not down or gone for 4 or 5 weeks, or I got to worry about a transfer or something. Not to mention, I think it's all screwed up, actually. I mean, the hammer on this thing is pounded to hell. It looks like somebody beat it with a really hard ball peen hammer. I mean, it's worn all funky, and it's terrible. It looks like the gun's been through 25 battles. It looks terrible. The hammer and the bottom of the bolt. And frankly, I don't know how much longer that bolt will keep going till I can't clean it up, So I guess I should call them. But anybody, if you look online and you see guys talking about it, none of it sounds like you can just call up and you get somebody in customer service and tell them your story. And they're like, oh, hey, yeah, we know what's going on. We'll send you some parts or send it in. It all seems like convoluted and nobody can get a hold of anybody, or they call back, or I don't know. Just once I'd like to get somebody on the phone that understands firearms, understands the issue you're having when you describe it. And especially on a problem that they're very familiar with. Actually, there should be a recall, frankly. That's just plain dangerous. I mean, they have thousands of these guns out there that have this problem, I'm sure. I hear and they're not changing it, because there's a guy is just about ready to start making aftermarket bolts for these things that solve the problem. But why should I have to spend $100-200 on a bolt for something that the factory knows about, And I love those guns. I love them, and they function extremely well. A lot of guys say they're cheap and junk and this and that. Well, I'll tell you what, I like it as much as my HK. How's that sound? Now the HK, the recoils are fairly similar. Maybe it's just the way I have mine set up. I've got so much aftermarket stuff on that Scorpion that I almost kind of like it better. It's certainly more ergonomic. I don't have a red dot yet on my HK, and I don't have, trigger job done like on this. I got lighter springs and everything's. I did a trigger job on it, and I've got a different grip. I hate the grip on the HK. That straight, nothing, no texture grip. I can't stand it. But that's one of those guns. It's so much money and so iconic and so collectible that I don't want to change anything at all. So kind of sucks. But for that kind of money, it should be really perfect, right? You would think, but I get it. When a gun's collectible and iconic like that, it's a different story. Doesn't matter if it's comfortable; it just matters what it is, right? Anyhow, how the hell I got on that Scorpion thing, I have no idea. Where were we? We were looking over the Palmetto State Armory AK, and yeah, the gun just wore perfect. Barely starting to kind of wear the lugs in. And don't take that wrong, guys. I speak in certain terms when it comes to AKs that most AK guys will understand. If you know AKs a lot, they're built very rough, right, for the most part. And the lugs and trunnions on them kind of wear into each other. Now, it's not wear like, oh my God, look at that trunnion, or look at the lugs on that thing. They're rounding over or something. No, it's just enough it's like this. It's like this. If you hold your hands like this long enough, when you take them apart, there's marks, right? And they go perfect. And that's how an AK is. It's nothing wrong with it. It's not soft metal or anything. It's just they wear in and they get better and better and better. And then it all stops, congeals, and the gun gets super smooth. They get better and better and better. And most guns will be completely broke in at about 3,000-4,000 rounds. And that's when they get really good. And they'll pretty much stay kind of there. When you get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 rounds, that gun should be super smooth, just running like nobody's business. And that's when, you know what? I love stamped receiver AKs at 5,000 rounds. In my opinion, and some of these guys, I never saw the big attraction to milled AKs. Oh, they're so smooth and they're so this. And I love when they talk about Chinese milled AKs, Polytechs and all this money for them and everything. Oh, they're the be all end all of AKs. They're like glass. Yeah, that's all I got for you on that. I like stamped guns better than I do milled guns. I have one Yugo AK, all of them actually, but this one Yugo AK that is so damn smooth. I will put it up against any AK out there. If you got one and you say, man, this is the smoothest AK I've ever seen, yeah, put it up against this one. And no, yours ain't even remotely smooth. It's a stamped receiver. It's like glass. It's incredible. And it's got a lot of rounds to it. And it just, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the look of a stamped AK. I think, bent sheet metal and rivets are part of it. I get it. The type 1, milled AK, that's the first one, all this. I don't know. To me, a stamped AK is the iconic be all end all when it comes to AKs. And they can be as smooth as milled. The thing that kills a stamped receiver a lot of times is the fact that when they're being built, whether it's at the factory, at an arsenal, or put together by a builder or whoever, they'll get the rails off a little bit when they weld them. And that will cause more issues than anything else out there. And if they're off just a hair, then that transition of the bolt carrier from the receiver and rails into the trunnion, you'll get that and I've had one in particular so bad that it would actually hit the trunnion and stop dead. But um, all in all, if they're straight, if they're spot on level with that rail is level with the rail of the trunnion as they come in, and big and if you don't have an Americanized trigger in there with the ginormous hump like a G2, when did we decide, and we didn't, the manufacturers did, namely Tapco. When did Tapco decide that it was a genius idea to make a trigger with a ginormous hump in it, so big that you pull back the charging handle, let it go forward slowly, that it'll just stay there? Like you had a bolt hold open device. That's what I call them. BHO triggers. That's what Tapcos are. BHO triggers. Bolt hold open triggers. I get it. It's the difference between semi-auto and full auto, this and that. But why is it that Zastava will run the same trigger they run in their select fire gun? I have Romanian guns that have Arsenal factory triggers in them. They run just fine. Take a look at a factory comblock trigger. It's flat. It's flat as could be. There ain't no goddamn hump in it. And that, too, creates a lot of smoothness issues. Who carries a Zippo? Yeah, whether you smoke or not, who carries a Zippo with them? If you don't have a Zippo, you lose man points. A Zippo, every man needs a Zippo in his pocket. It's just, it's as iconic as anything else out there. The smell, the fluid, having to mess with the flints and all that, they always work. I used to just carry silver ones. Maybe with something engraved or something, a gift from my wife or something. But I bought this one on the way back through Indiana, actually. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, I'm on a list now, aren't I? That put me on a list. Damn it. Damn, another one. I look, tally board over 872 lists. 873. I'm going to have to put it on the list. Oh, well. The other one I have is an American flag, but I never lose anything. I just misplace it. It always shows up later. Well, this one's been gone 2-3 weeks, my American flag one, and I can't find it. So I don't know. I'm going to have to do one search and find it. It's pissing me off. Anyways, yeah, triggers, man. Tapco. I don't know if everybody just went off the Tapco then and decided this is the way to do it. But yeah. Let's go into the chat here, ladies and gentlemen. I see a super chat. Ah ha ha ha. Kick ass. So that's good. I usually like to do, when I give people super chats, I do $7.62 for the AK round. But this one's good. I believe there's an H on there. So I believe it's probably, because I haven't even looked at the chat, it's probably Hattori Hanzo with $30.06. 30.6. Awesome. Let's see who's in here. Joe's in first. Good to see you, Joe. Hey, I'm getting that AR grip out to you. I found a good one. It's kind of thin. I don't care for it. It's like the kind that meets the receiver. There's no beaver tail or nothing. I hope you like it. I mean, if I'll find another one. Maybe if I got another one, I'll throw two in there. Use whatever you think. Give the other one to somebody that needs it. I'm sorry it took so long to get it out to you, Joe. Hey guys, check out Joe's channel. I get a kick out of him, and I get a real kick out of Joe, but some people's channels you gotta be in tune with, or maybe you just get it, or maybe you don't like it, or whatever. But go listen to it. Joe just gives thoughts for the day and stuff. Talks about things that piss him off on a daily basis, or good things, things that went well, whatever. But it's you don't see him. It's him sitting outside. I'm pretty sure he's vaping while he's doing that. I can hear him vaping and see the smoke once in a while. And he's sitting on like his patio or something. And the camera's just pointed out at the grass and ground, and he talks. And some of them are funny. When he gets going, the uh, the language is so great that it's hilarious. I've never heard someone use swear words so much, but they're so good. And he uses them in the proper for the proper people, put it that way. Um, and they're just excellent. They fit so well. And I get a chuckle out of it. When he really gets going, I get a chuckle. If you don't like foul language, just don't go over there. But it's not, it's used for a reason. And it's just so good. And there's a lot of good there. Some ideas, things we all kind of probably think about, but some of us may or may not voice them in public, maybe due to family, friends, whatever. Maybe you do in public, but just it's things you think about and things going on, and personal stuff, life events, that kind of thing. It's cool. It's just cool. It's a change. It's a change, and it's good. So go over and check it out. It's just Joe Morgan, and it's cool. Joe got a new H&R pistol too. He picked up at a pawn shop. Looks pretty cool. Let's see. Oregon Fixer's here. Chase Kelly's here. Good to have you both. I like those guys. Hattori Hanzo. Hattori, thank you for the super chat, man. That is super nice. I appreciate it. So funny. I got another video ready to go. I finished it yesterday. I wanted to put it up around 6, 7 o'clock. People are done with dinner, get home from work. They got a little time. They see the notification. They watch the video, right? Had it all done in time, all through. I'm clicking. It passes all the checks. It's going to be great. I'm going to do a premiere. And I go to do the premiere and bing, demonetized. I got to wait and get, do you want to review it? Yeah, I want somebody to review it. There's nothing wrong with this video. Nothing. It's on an AR-15, and we're talking about an Aero Precision DMR. You guys have probably seen it in some of my videos, but I've never done a video on it specifically. And I just love the rifle. It's the what's different about it is that most reviews that I do or any other channel does, and some of them will tell you, oh, we've been running this gun for 8 months, 9 months, a year, and we put thousands of rounds to it. Bullshit. They're all full of it, because they all get sent out the demo guns on release day, or they ask for it and they send them the gun and they put a couple of boxes of ammo through it and they do some video and they report on it and they send it back. If they're telling you they've been testing it all this time, they're just full of it. I'm telling you right now, they are. Yeah, you can keep them a while. I've known guys that have kept guns for a long time from companies and not sent them back, and they never asked for them until months and months later. That's never a good thing, but I've heard of it. That being said, they're not out shooting it daily, reporting on all this stuff. They do a video and they're on to the next thing, But the difference with this gun is it's mine, first of all. Second of all, I have had it almost 2 years now. And I've shot it, and I've shot it, and I've shot it. And it just never, there was always something else to cover or talk about. And it was just another AR. But then the more I shot it, and the more accurate it got, and I developed a load for it. And it just runs so darn good, and it's so comfortable. And it shoots so easy. It's easy to shoot well with it, put it that way. And I finally got the optic all dialed in and everything. And I thought, I'm going to do a video on this thing because the components are really cool on it. Nothing crazy expensive, Just frankly, it was kind of what was available at the time, and where normally I would use a lot more aero precision parts, different bolt carrier in there, a rather inexpensive barrel that just shoots really well. Um, mm. And it's the only one I have that it's the Aero M4E1 receiver, upper and lower, but the lower is the enhanced. So if you're not familiar with it, all the ARs I build are M4E1 receivers. For the money, you can't beat them. You can spend crazy money, and frankly, there's nothing better about a lot of them. I mean, yeah, some will fit better. Billet, I don't care for it. I think a forged receiver is just a better receiver, period. Forged look weird to me. Not forged. Billet receivers look weird to me. And I don't know. Just not as smooth, no matter what cuts they do. It's just hard to beat an M4E1. It's got a flared mag well. It uses the set screws for the different springs, so it's easy to put together, take apart. You don't worry about shooting springs all over the place. Don't worry about the set screws. They stay in forever. I've never had one come loose, ever, on 9 guns. But this enhanced one, it's basically your barrel nut is forged right into the receiver. So on the front of the receiver, rather than just the hole for the bolt carrier that's threaded, you've got this big hunk of aluminum, that's essentially similar to a barrel nut right on the front. And your barrel goes in like normal, but the barrel nut is a ring. Think sort of in your mind, if you can picture a castle nut for a buffer tube, it looks kind of like that. And it screws in internal inside the what would essentially be the muzzle nut, screws inside. Comes with the wrench and that particular barrel nut. And if you want to use this enhanced handguard they have for it on a different build, all you got to do is get a bar or a BAR, no relation to Browning BAR, style barrel nut, and you can use this handguard. Why you'd go through that trouble, I don't know, but anyhow, it's a nice handguard. This enhanced, effectively what it does now, sure, when you're using this type of handguard, your barrel is free floated, right? However, when the barrel nut or the part that the handguard's mounting to is part of the receiver, it's way stronger. It's your handguard is now bolting into and becoming part of the receiver, as opposed to bolting to what's essentially the barrel on a regular barrel nut. So now you lean that handguard on anything, and you're not putting any influence into the barrel whatsoever. It's, in my opinion, it's just a better way to go. Stronger for sure. It's not any heavier, really. If anything, it's lighter, because what would be a giant steel barrel nut is now a giant aluminum casting. So the aluminum's way lighter than a big steel barrel nut, It's just a neat system, and it just seems like there's more around that barrel too, when you use the other nut internally to screw that barrel in. Just a nice system, and for whatever reason, I never did a video on it, and I don't think a lot of people really know about these enhanced receivers. If you don't, try them, because it's an M4E1, but just more to it. Anyhow, and there's a primary arms. I built this thing specifically as a DMR, 20-inch barrel, 1 in 7 twist, so it can handle heavy bullets. I shoot 75 grainers out of it specifically, but a lot of people think 1 in 7 might not shoot 55 grainers too well. It shoots 55, and I think, what were the other ones? 52 or 53, 52, I think. But 55 grainers, better than it. Well, last time out and in the video, I was getting better groups with the 55 grain. I don't know if it was me or what, but I just was. So don't let anybody tell you that 55 grainers won't shoot well out of a 1-in-7 twist, because they will. But if you're going to shoot heavier bullets, 1-in-7, 20-inch barrel, regular A2 flash hider, all the arrow, handguard, upper lower receiver, rifle length gas system. And I thought about doing a rifle length stock. But then I thought, as a DMR, it's kind of, you want it to handle two roles, right? The DMR role, and what if they get into some CQB or something? You don't want to be short stocking that thing coming around a corner or through a door. You want to have that collapsible stock and body armor and all that other stuff. So I went with a carbine length buffer tube and buffer. The recoil impulse is just fine when shooting it like you would a DMR. When shooting fast, like you may in a urban setting or a CQB setting, it can be a little strange maybe. What I might do is what I did on the 308, and that's go to that M5 buffer tube. That's the one that they developed for the Marines, where they could keep their rifle length barrels in their 20-inch barrels, but go to a collapsible stock where they needed it when they were in Iraq and stuff. You can run a rifle. I run, like in the 308, a rifle length spring with a rifle carbine buffer. Super heavy buffer in that 308. And it works great. It's like an 11-ounce buffer. Everyone says that won't run. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Really soft and really well. I might go to an M5 buffer in this thing, and that'd be great. Or maybe just an H2 or H3 buffer in it. It just seems a little harsh when you're shooting it fast. I don't know. Just a hair, hardly at all. I've got a primary arms 2x10 gold series scope. Phenomenal scope, phenomenal glass. Caught it on sale for $299 when they're like $1,000 now, or $1,200. It was a closeout because they were changing the turrets or something. Just the printed design on it. Same turrets, zero stop. Instead of brass or plastic detents, it has steel, so it'll never wear out. It doesn't get mushy, and because they're steel, you get such a solid click that it tracks well. You know how guys like to track a box or shoot a box with clicks, and see if it'll track back to zero. If anything's going to do it, this one will do it. I mean, without getting into $3,000 to $5,000 scopes. It's a great scope, and I love the 2x10. It's perfect for a DMR roll, that intermediate 300 to 500, somewhere in there is perfect. But the only one they had on sale, I didn't realize when I was buying it, because I was looking at the one scope and then I got hit with this sale thing, and I bought it. And it's not MOA, it's mils. It's in mils. And that throws you off when everything else you have is MOA. Because now instead of 10 clicks per MOA, each click is 1/10 of 3.72 or whatever it is. So now you got to figure that out in your head. Still has the ACSS reticle and all. Zero stops. What I like about the primary arms that other scopes don't have, including that, what are they, Atabal or something that just came out. It's a veteran-owned company. A buddy of mine has a couple of those optics, and they're great. Very similar to primary arms. Money-wise, glass-wise, they do the Chinese glass, Japanese glass Taiwan glass thing like Primary Arms does. But your zero stops, when you set your zero, that's it. On the Primary Arms, let's say I'm shooting, let's say I got the gun zeroed for a 75 grain round, and now I switch to 55 grains, and I want to bring and the point of impact, or let's say I'm shooting 55 grain and I start shooting 75 grain and the point of impact's higher. I want to bring it down a little bit. Well, on these other scopes, I can't click negative because the zero stop stops it, right? This, you can get 3 or 4 clicks past it for minor adjustments like that, which is nice. That's cool. So you don't have to go reset everything, you know? But anyhow, and it's FDE. It's just a nice rifle, and I thought I've been enjoying shooting it so much that I thought I'm going to do a video on this thing. And I got, unlike other guns that we do reviews on, I've got almost 2 years under my belt with this gun. So it's really cool to not only tell you what it is, but to show you all the parts and what's worn and how it's held up and everything with real use, not babying it. I baby all my guns when I can because I don't like beating on guns. Why, if I don't have to? But this gun's, got its share of nicks and scratches, and it's been slammed down on a round hay bale feeder in a 3-gun match, and it's been leaned on fences, and it's fallen over, and it's actually taken a couple big hits. I think that was an AK where I broke the scope rings actually on an AK. That'll teach you to buy cheap mounts. You'd think, that'll never break. Shit. Took a little tip over, bonk, and the whole mount was screwed. Garbage. What if that happened out in the field or when you really needed it? You don't think about it and you say, I'll just get the Primary Arms cantilever mount or something like that. It'll be fine. Yeah, and it falls over and it bends one of the bolts up like this. And yeah, you got to watch it, guys. There's so much junk out there. So much junk. But I know you can't build every rifle like it's your go-to rifle, but pay attention. There's a reason stuff's cheap. And if you plan on using it at one day or that there may be the possibility to have to use it one day, then you save your pennies and buy something a little better, at least a step up. But this thing's been great. 2 years, even the Cerakote's held up well. Sure, it's got a couple scratches here and there. But all in all, the Cerakote's held up well. The only place it's worn quite a bit is where the charging handle comes over the top of the receiver at the back there. It's worn it there. Carrier, it's got a fail zero carrier on it. The only carrier I own in nickel boron, and it's held up fabulously. Other than that, those carriers bug me. I don't know why people spend the money on them. Get yourself a nitrided carrier, much slicker. Always looks clean and neat, and when you do have to clean it, you can wipe it off with a rag. You don't have to scrape carbon, nothing. And most of all, they don't tarnish. That nickel boron tarnishes. It'll get dark from shooting it, and there's no way you can scrub all you want. The only way you're going to get it to what looks like it's clean is to polish it every single time. I'll hit it on the buffing wheel. Blah, blah, blah. That's the fastest way to do it. And that's the only way to keep them looking good. But the carrier is like glass, and it's held up. Everything looks great on it. The extraction is perfect, and it's got thousands of rounds through it now. Extractor spring, extractor, ejector, The pin is fine. Firing pin is fine. Uh, the buffer and buffer tube, nothing's got hung up at the front. Nothing's getting any marks on it. The barrel is shooting magnificently. It's a Ballistic Advantage Modern series, which is their cheap entry level series, nitrided. Um, Great barrel. Can't say enough. Oh, if you guys are looking, by the way, I was thinking, because I like this rifle so much, maybe I'll upgrade the barrel, but I hate to take a rifle down and change something when it's shooting so well. But Ballistic Advantage right now has their 20-inch stainless steel AR 556 barrels, which is their top of the line barrel. Except now, the only reason I didn't do a stainless barrel on this one when I was building it is I didn't want a bright silver barrel on this gun. I wanted a black one. Well, guess what? They have stainless steel with the nitride black finish. And I think I paid this barrel, the Modern Series barrel, is $169 or $189. This stainless steel top of the line black barrel, same barrel, but their top of the line stainless, is $20 cheaper. $169. That's a steal. I should just get one just because. Matter of fact, I'm going to. But if you're looking for a barrel, man, that's a great barrel. Anyhow, so yeah, they demonetized it, and I've been waiting for them to do the human review, which sometimes takes 2 minutes, bam, and oh, it's back. It's green again. Good to go. I can make some money for my work. And other days, I swear they know you're in a hurry and you want to put the video out, so they wait. I figure it'll be ready to last night. Nope, nothing last night. Go to bed. It'll be up in the morning. They'll have changed it. Nope, still under review. Go to work, check it at lunch. Nope, still under review. After work, I'll put it out after work, and they'll get to see it before we come in and do the live stream. Nope, still under review. Right before I went on, it was still under review. So I don't know. But my point being, Hattori, thank you so much for the super chat, man. 30@6. For those of you that don't know, the little dollar sign there underneath where you comment, click on that, and you can pick an amount from 1 penny to $1 million and donate it to the channel. It flags you up top that you gave me a super chat, and I look for you right away, and then I'll try and answer your question a little quicker, or make sure we get to it at least. How's that sound? Or if you just like what we do here and appreciate us, we appreciate you. If you can't afford it, we understand, man. No problem. Stay, have fun. No big deal. But it really helps when YouTube demonetizes us like that, because now you do the work, you spend the, you shoot the ammo, you do all this stuff, and you can't even try and break even, which we've never broken even, not even close. But it helps, when all of a sudden you need ammo or something, and pull your wallet out and go, not happening this week. It's nice to have a little bit when you need it once in a while for stuff. And it all goes back in the channel. We don't use it for anything else. Nothing. Let's see who else is here. Pillbuck's Bunker, of course. We said he's here. I'm glad he's here. Ross is here. Good to see him. Let's see. What a great time. Glad you were here. Yeah, I had such a good time. So the food, you guys have all heard 280U talk about this. I think she's a bit psychotic. I don't know. She's like a stalker, kind of. This girl, Linda, that's on his channel, she stalks him pretty much. I think she's got like some weird crush on him or something. And she's always in there. But he says she's hot and everything. I think he's got the hots for her, right? Maybe he did. Who knows? Now she's stalking him. So she shows up at the shoot. And what does she do? She brings all kinds of food. She cooked it all. And so we're eating it. I'm thinking, oh, what if this is like a Fatal Attraction thing and we're all going to fall over here or something? But I don't know. I started eating. Holy cow. Chili, Uh, my favorite thing, she made corn muffins. And I love corn muffins, period. They just got that. I like them when they're a little sweet, where they're sweet without putting honey on them. Maybe you just put some butter on them and they're delicious. That's how these were. Except she put, and I didn't ask. I should have, if it was just like canned corn or something, or if she put cream corn in it. Because when I told my wife about it, she said she probably puts cream corn in it, and she's going to make them for me. These things were ridiculous. I ate 3 of them. I would have eaten 5 if I didn't want to look like a pig, but God, it was good. And there was a pasta salad somebody made, was really good. I tried that. Chili brats. I felt right at home. All kinds of Wisconsin brats. That was good. Actually, when you live in Wisconsin, you don't eat that many brats. We get sick of them. I like I'm a Chicago hot dog guy, or a Maxwell Street Polish sausage guy. If you guys have never had Maxwell Street Polish, you have no idea what you're missing. They take a big link of Polish kielbasa. It's got the flat ends, where they've cut it. And they cook it on the grill. And they don't, boil it or steam it. They cook it on the grill. Then they throw it in a deep fryer. That's the key. Throw it in a deep fryer, crisp the whole outside in the bun, hot dog bun, poppy seed bun. And then you only put 3 things on, 2 things really, but I put 3. They put mustard, grilled onions. I put neon green relish on it too, and a little bit of celery salt. You ain't lived till you had that. You have no idea how good that is. The outside is crisp from the deep fryer. So Maxwell Street used to be a street in Chicago where on Sundays, we'd go on Sundays. I think it was Saturday too, though. Or maybe it was Saturday. I don't remember. You could go down there and it was like a giant flea market. There were the stores there, but there were booths too everywhere, parking lots, this and that. It's like the world's biggest flea market, except it happened unsanctioned, all on its own. And it had developed over years and years and years. Everybody knew it. If you were looking for a deal on anything, electronics or socks or anything, you went down to Maxwell Street. And it was like the United Nations. There was white, black, yellow, every nation under the sun. Everybody. Buying, selling, looking for deals, haggling, negotiating. And if you wanted it, legal or illegal, you could find it on Maxwell Street. I will say that a lot of the stuff there was probably hot. I don't know. But there were deals, and you could buy anything. You could buy a pimp suit, a purple pimp suit with a purple hat and purple crocodile shoes, to a wedding dress, to athletic socks, to car stereos, to tools, to you name it, it was there. And if you needed something, didn't have a lot of money, you went down to Maxwell Street. And there were food vendors. And that's where Maxwell Street Polish sausage got started. They deep fried them, and everybody'd walk around eating one with a root beer or Coke. And we went down there just for those half the time. Well, then, Maxwell Street Polish became a thing. It was iconic. And now it's forever. Vienna Sausage makes Maxwell Street Polish. And when you walk in a Chicago hot dog joint, you ask them for a Maxwell Street Polish. You don't even have to tell them what's on it. They will put mustard and grilled onions on it. Boom. If you want anything else, you got to ask for it, but that comes on it. Do not put ketchup on it. Don't put ketchup on anything. Ketchup belongs on nothing but fries and hamburgers, okay? It doesn't go on any type of sausage. And yes, it's true. There's restaurants that will throw you out in Chicago if you ask for ketchup on your hot dog. Some will do it nicely, others not so nicely. Although everything's become wussified these days, so who cares? But let's see. Rabbit Hole Review, grinding to 1,000 subs, almost halfway there. Good job. 2AEDU is here. Women are usually better than men at it. Yeah. So, oh, Linda. So she cooked up a storm and everything. I love the muffins, everything. She's a nice lady. I don't know what he was talking about, stalking and stuff. She was a really nice lady. I got the feeling she kind of liked me, but I don't want to step on his territory. I don't know what he's got going on there. So I'll just stay away, and I'll take him at his word that I want to stay away. So ketchup on steak, no, 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 no. Here's what you do on steak. So everyone's probably like an A1. I go old school, and well, it's not even old school, I guess, because you never really saw it in restaurants. But I love Heinz 57 steak sauce. Oh my God. I mean, let's face it, a good steak, like a filet or something, should only have salt, anyways, and garlic or whatever. But if you're going to use steak sauce, and I do, I'm not a snob when it comes to that stuff. But Heinz 57, oh, on French fries, on so many things, it's so good. God, I love it. But once in a while, I get burnt on that. And the A1's great on fries too. You ever try that? Ooh, man. Yeah, Polish dogs are great. You know what? I was talking in this video that'll come out, or in the other video, the 2AEDU get together video. I talked about getting a shoot together here. We'll put something together. And if any of you guys that live close, maybe if you live in northern Illinois or you live in Wisconsin or whatever, you can help me put it together. And that's what we're going to do for food. I'm going to have real hot dogs. I mean, there's a place in Chicago called Super Dog. My favorite. It's, in a lot of people's opinion, for sure mine, the best hot dog place on the planet. No better. If I haven't been, I will drive to Chicago just to get one. I have to go at least once a month. I have to have one. I used to eat there 3, 4, 5 times a week all my life, since the time I was like 10 years old. And I still have to have them. I go there. I'll make the drive. I'll say, honey, come on, get in the car. We're going to get Super Dogs. If I got to go to O'Hare Airport, I either stop before or after. If I fly into Chicago from vacation or something, with first place we go is Super Dog. About 10 minutes from O'Hare. Yeah, fabulous. But I will make you guys dogs just like it. And we'll make some Polish. And I may even have some Lou Malnati's pizza that I gave away here on the channel there too. So you guys can look forward to that. Everyone's going to join in. Screw the shooting. We're coming for the food. But I'll give you a little taste of, hey, guys, you hear me talk about food once in a while here. But it's the food I grew up with, and since I don't live there anymore, I miss it. I really, really, that's the only thing I'll go back to Chicago for. I remember one point in my life that I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm never leaving this place. This is the greatest city on the planet. And at that time, it was a great place. I was a Chicago cop. I grew up there. My dad's businesses were there. I went to school there. My first date was there. All our hot rodding and our hangout places were there. It was fabulous, but it's not the same place, not even remotely close. And it was such a good place, but I have no want to ever go back there, ever live there, live anywhere closer, even in the state. But I do go back for 3 restaurants in particular. That's Super Dog, my hot dog joint, Lou Malnati's Pizza, and a restaurant in the northern suburbs called Rana Japan's, where I get their crown lobster dinner. It's a lobster tail covered in egg sauce, and you dip it in teriyaki. And if I was on death row and it was my last meal, I would order 3 of them. That's how delicious it is. But that's the only reason I will go back there. And if it could be, I could be anywhere, any time of day or night, and someone said, let's go and get one of those 3 things, I will drop what I'm doing, jump in the car, and drive 5 hours if I have to. I do it at least once a month. So anyhow, let's see. What are you guys talking about? Costco used to have a damn fine Polish dog. They did. It wasn't too bad. They had those footlongs. I didn't care for those. Aren't they were good hot dogs? They just weren't dressed right. Put it that way. I went back to the beginning here to check through these things. True American Loretta's here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Uh, let's see. I have him on TV. I'm listening. It's snowing in Michigan too. Yeah. Marksman TV. Yeah. Why the hell I'm drawing a blank? Oh, God. What I said in the video is true, guys. I've been watching him since the very beginning. And it's cool to see how channels develop, like 2AEDUs did, partially his change was because YouTube forced it, with the live streams. It used to be so cool when he could I loved it when he could show guns, because someone would bring up a gun or we'd be talking about an AK or something, and he'd be, hold on. Ta-da! And it was there. You name the gun, he could pull it out. It was hilarious and awesome. And it was so cool. And you know what drew me to his channel first? I was flipping through. I don't know how I found it, but I'm flipping through one night, and what's behind him? The background with the shelves and all the ammo and his Yugo AK hanging there, and then all the stuff in the background in the shop and all. And I love that. That's why, and mine was like it. I didn't copy mine from him, or he didn't copy his from me. It's just what we did, right? Because don't have a lot of money, and it started out as like a hobby and that kind of thing. And I just thought, I'm going to do a video. So I did it at where I do a lot of my finer work at that desk there that you see behind me. And the heavier work, like if I'm building up a AK receiver or something, I got the press next to me and my big workbench. And now that has more shotgun reloading stuff, progressive loaders, and a little Lee loader or whatever the hell it is on there. And then some of my floor tools, my grinder, my buffer, then my reloading bench. And then there's another bench along the wall where I do a lot of cleaning and brass prep, and then my drill press. And then next to that's the lathe. What you don't see after that last bench is maybe you see the drill press. I don't know, but drill press, lathe, sandblaster, and then just whatever. But I just liked it because my wife's telling me all the time, like, do the garage, do the floor nice with that stuff, and we'll get you some nice cabinets and matching benches and the wall thing where you can hang everything, not like a pegboard, but the nice stuff, like you could almost use for a gun wall. She wants me to do that, and everything behind cabinet doors and neat and clean. And I thought, okay, that'd be cool. Look like a shop, or it would have been cool when I was doing the motorcycle racing thing, and it would have looked like a motorcycle shop, but my stuff is my stuff. And as any guy will tell you, especially if you're working in your shop, your place of business, your home, whatever, wherever your place is, it may be a mess. It may look like complete chaos to other people or your wife, but I'm sure 2AEDU is just like me. I'm sure Pillbox Bunker. I'm sure all you guys. It may look like chaos, but I know where if you ask me, I don't know, where's your countersink bit for this or anything. I know exactly where it is, what shelf, what drawer, what this, what that. Boom, here you go. It's third drawer down, top box, snap-on box, whatever. I know where everything is. I know where it's hanging. I know what drawer it's in. I know, and there's rhyme or reason to it, even though it looks like chaos. The problem is there's just so much. And when you get to my age, or even when I hit about 40 is when I hit max capacity long before that. And we went from this size shop to this size shop to this size shop. And it's never enough. Now I have a car lift coming for my shop, and we've got, I don't know how high they are. They're at least 11 feet, but they're probably more like 14-foot ceilings in there. Sucks for heating and cooling, but it's going to work great. I get to have a lift in there now, and that'll free up some space for me because I don't have any cars in the shop. I don't keep any in there, but there are toys in there like side by side and a quad and tractor, some other stuff that you don't see, but it would be nice to have a lift and get that out of the way because I can continue. I want to get a mill, which I don't have right now. I had one, and when I sold my business, the mill went with it. Should have kept it, but I'm going to get a mill again, and that'll give me some room for that. So that'll be cool. But point being, I was drawn to his channel because he had the chaos going on behind him like I do. But I'm sure he knows where everything is. And at first I enjoyed just looking at the shelves, listening to him, but I'm not looking at him. I'm looking on the shelves, the ammo, the this, and then I'm trying, what is that on the back wall? I'm trying to figure out what that is. And I hope you guys do the same. As you go, oh, look what he's got there or that, or, my stickers collections that are everywhere, from motorcycles to guns. But I hope you guys look at it and wonder what it is or think something's cool. If you guys ever want me to do like a little shop tour through and just show you, I don't know, what a gun guy keeps to do the things I do and make the things I make, I'd be happy to do it. And I think it'd be kind of cool. To somebody it may be boring. Oh, great! So there's a cabinet full of spray paint. I don't know, whatever. But and now that I've got my Dillon progressive loader, my reloading bench needs to be. I will challenge anyone to compare loading benches and see if anyone else has gotten as much equipment into this small a space as I do, and it's still all usable. I've got 3 presses. The bench is maybe 5 feet long, maybe 6 feet. It's got 2 drawers and storage underneath. It's got a back half wall with light and a shelf above it. It's a Craftsman bench, actually, a steel bench with a galvanized steel top, pegboard on the back, fluorescent lights built into it, and a power strip built into it. And on that one bench, I have my Dillon Progressive, 2 rock chuckers, a RCBS case trimmer, my tumbler, all my dies, powder, brass had to move, all my other tools for reloading, everything, 2 scales, trying to think of all of it, all my bullets, all my dies, 1 drawer filled with extra AK parts from springs to trunnions to whatever. And underneath, I couldn't even tell you how there's so much. All my manuals, everything into one spot. Just imagine 3 presses and being able to work on all 3 perfectly comfortable, along with a trimmer. Now, the only thing I can switch out, I've got one of those RCBS plates in the middle that I'll switch out my trimmer to a rock chucker once in a while, but the trimmer's always mounted there. But it just works. And while I'm redoing the shop how my wife wants it, because it'll give me more workbenches and more space. But I'm so hesitant because I'm comfortable the way it is. I don't know. What do you guys think? You like organized chaos or what? Does that enthrall you guys too to look when you see, I think as a YouTube channel, I think it looks kind of unprofessional, I guess, or true YouTubers would say, you need a backdrop. You have to have the obligatory glowing light, right? That's if you don't have that glowing light, what's his name? Where'd he go? I'm sorry, guys. I'm drawing a blank again, but I got to find him here. Hold on. Give me just a second. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh my God. The guy with the new channel. He's almost to 1,000 subs. You will not get to 1,000 subs if you don't have a glowing light. Okay? Just telling you. You won't. Forget it. Just consider yourself washed up till you get one of them. But yeah, you're not a real YouTube channel till you got the backdrop. You know, the shelf with the bullshit on it from Hobby Lobby or whatever, and your glowing light. You ain't shit till you got that. Kind of like this, but this is cheese ball. This is nothing. This is the red Kalashnikov couch, my commie couch, and yeah. Until you got that, you're nobody. You know, they look at my backdrop and 2A's backdrop, and they go, "Who are these scrubs? They don't know squat." I don't know. And maybe it does look, and at times I feel that way. I watch other gun channels, and they look so professional. Yeah, but these guys got cameramen, they got money behind them, they got all this stuff. I got nothing. I got me. You know, I used to have a kid. My son would do camera stuff, but even then, it's not much. I mean, it's like you do what you can, and hopefully the content makes up for it. Or maybe your content sucks like this, where it's just some guy babbling about Polish hot dogs, AKs, Red Bull, and messy shops. I don't know. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we only get 10 people watching this thing. Oh, well, what are you going to do? All right, I saw some other super chats here. Let me get down to them. But I want to say hi to everybody, and then we'll get back to our little get-together because I want to talk about the BAR. I want to talk about the MP40, and I didn't get to shoot the Sten. That sucked, but because I've never shot a Sten. I had shot an MP40 a lot, but the rest I didn't. You didn't hold us up. Good. I'm glad I didn't, Pillbox. I'm glad I didn't want to. But whether he waited for me or what, Chris, I certainly appreciate it. I didn't want to be that late. That was terrible. Squeaky's here. We have snow here tonight in Nipa. What's Nipa? I don't know what Nipa is. Napa? You don't have snow in Napa. Food is good. Don't miss opportunity to shoot. The best times I have ever had with my dad's guns were involving new, old, cheap, or expensive. Yeah. We spent the first hour just shooting 2A EDU's new AK 1,000 rounds. I would have liked to. The guys that saw him do the 1,000 rounds, they will attest. Now, I'm assuming a bunch of you shot that gun, but imagine being one guy or even one guy with a helper and putting 1,000 rounds through a gun in a range session. It's a lot of rounds. It's a lot of loading. It's not as easy as it seems. When you think about Rob Ski's 5,000 round tests and stuff, dude, that's a lot of shooting, man. And, you know, to burn that many rounds, you're not like doing drills and you're not shooting, you know, for accuracy or this. You're just shooting in steel, the dirt, whatever, you know. It starts out, you have good intentions and you don't want to just waste rounds, but the end of the day, when you're trying to get through it, it's like, oh my God, you know, and it takes a long time. Yeah, the AK did extremely well. The thing looked brand new, very brand new. I did manage to rescue my dad's guns from grubby, grabby relatives, and ideally, see, I will not have that problem. I don't quite get that problem where your dad passes and other people are grabbing his stuff. Unless I get it, I guess if it's a brother or sister or something. But even then, I know a lot of people don't have good relationships, maybe with brothers, sisters. I do, which is fine. But I can't imagine other relatives swooping in. They wouldn't be able to get in. First off, I mean, I just don't get it. Where, you know, does the cousin show up and say, "Haha, I'm here first," and runs off? I mean, what? I don't know. It just wouldn't happen in my case. My mom would never let it happen, and I'd be there. But I don't know. I guess there's different situations, and maybe they live somewhere else, and other people are taking care of them or helping out. But whatever. But yeah, that sucks that you got to rescue it from grabby relatives. And even so, if you're the son or daughter, why would somebody have the balls to go into your parents' place and start helping themselves? You know what I mean? God, they got to be really shitty people. Um, Pillbox. None of the tree limbs had your name on them. Thank God. The year before, I think I told one of you guys there the story. I'm here in Wisconsin, and I'm raking leaves in the spring, just doing a spring cleanup. Got a landscape trailer connected to an old Yukon. I'm going up the driveway, and I get out, and I'm raking leaves and putting them into the trailer, and I hear an explosion above me, like boom, like a goddamn claymore, and the trees went off, right? And I just happened to look up, and thank God I looked at the right spot, because I saw it right away. And here's this giant limb coming down, and it's going to hit me. And I take 2 steps back, and it lands. It hits the tongue of the trailer. It landed between the car and the front of the trailer on the tongue. And any of you guys that have fallen big trees or landscapers like 2A, you guys know when a big limb, even it doesn't have to look that big, but a limb that big around 8 feet long hitting the ground, dude, from 30, 40 feet up, the ground shakes. You feel it, let alone a big branch like that. It shook the ground, and I thought, holy shit, I almost just met my maker, man. I fire up the chainsaw, zip, 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 throw it in the thing. I move up the drive. I get to the top. Now we have, I don't know if they're original growth or what, but these are red pines. And I'm not kidding you. If you and I held out our hands and held hands, we couldn't get our arms around these giant red pines. They're 150 feet tall. I don't even know how tall, but the trunks are that big. I mean, huge. There's a little bit of wind that day, but not bad. All of a sudden, I hear another boom, and then I hear pow, 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 and all this noise, and the ground's doing this again. I'm like, what the hell? I look over. Here's one of these giant, giant red pines, just, and it's taking every tree down on its way down. It's snapping trees this big like they were toothpicks as it's coming down through into the forest, just boom. And when it hit, it was like a bomb had hit. I mean, the debris and dirt and dust and sound and noise. Does a tree make noise when it's in the woods if no one hears it? I guarantee you it does. I threw, you know what? I threw the rake in the landscape trailer, and I made a U-turn. I went back in the driveway, went in the house. I said, that's enough for one day. I'm going to end up dead. How often does that happen? What's the odds? One almost kills me, and another one, I'm there to witness this ginormous tree in the middle of this forest go down like that. I thought, that's it. I almost went and bought a lottery ticket, but I don't want to risk it. I thought I might get hit by another one. Anyhow. Who else is in here? Y'all didn't look bored or upset, that's for sure. No, we were not bored. It was fun. 2A just posted a short teaser. I was in a creative mood tonight. I haven't done any shorts yet. You got to film in vertical mode. This and that. You know what I've been thinking about? A drone. A drone would be pretty cool to do some overhead shooting and have it go down by the. I've never flown one, but I've been watching some pretty cool stuff. And between $400 and $1,000, you can get like a killer drone. I don't want to spend $1,000, but I'd spend 400 maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much I'd use it either. David Inglesby's in here. Better late than never. You're not late. We're only an hour and a half in. We got 3 hours to go. I'm just kidding. Rock, that's one reason I never got a Scorpion. I saw a lot of videos, people with soft parts. Yeah, sure, it could fire out a battery, I guess, maybe, but I've put thousands of rounds through these things, man, and not had an issue. And as long as you keep an eye on it and make sure that that plunger's moving, you're fine. But it does suck that that has to happen. It shouldn't be like that. Hattori, I got your notice earlier. Uh, Hattori sent his paperwork into the CMP, and it was like 7 days or 10 days. He got his gun. So he delivered a beauty to my door in less than 2 weeks. I heard it took months. Nah, yeah, 10 days and he got his grand. So if you guys want a grand, man, get your paperwork in and get one. They're going away fast and you got to have one. I brought mine to the shoot. It's a nice gun. It's so much fun to shoot and it feels like a battle rifle should. It just, boom, it's sitting right here. It's just solid, like an FN feels like a battle rifle. Like you can hold an AK, an AR. Yeah, it's a military weapon, but a battle rifle, a big bore battle rifle is until you hold one, it's the weight, it's the chunk, it's the size, the tad unwieldy, maybe in the case of an FN. Uh, just that the solid, just boom when that cartridge goes off, that chest thump. There's something about a battle rifle. And while the Garand has all those properties, it's more maneuverable. But if you go to shooting one of those from what you're used to at AKAR, it's a lot different. But if you look at it from the mindset of, okay, this is my battle implement. Okay, this is my tool, and it's all I got. Get that mindset. Let's say you're at the range, you're going to do drills, or you're going to shoot and move kind of stuff. Get it in your head that this is my battle implement. This is what I have to fight with. This is how I have to reload it. Here's how many shots, and go through the motions. And pretty soon you're like, yeah, I could do this. I could today fight modernly with it. It's not as unwieldy, in my opinion, as an FN is. A full size FN, like my Belgian FN, that's a big rifle, man, with the long flash hider and everything, and that's but it's cool. And to reload 8 rounds, boom. Now, if you guys had seen me reloading mine at the shoot, oh my god, I had loaded. I don't know. I think it was the end blocks. And sometimes if you don't get the lips of the cartridges down under the thing, you can feel it when you grab the end block, loaded end block to load it in. You can tell. I can tell how it feels in my hand, the width of it, how it's going to load. If it feels normal, thin, whoop, right in. But you'll get them where they feel just a bit fat, like the bullets ain't laying just right in it. Jeez Louise, you'll struggle. And rather than fix it, I was just going to jam the damn thing in there. And then it literally jammed in there. I couldn't get it down, couldn't get it up. Getting it up is always a burden. No, never mind. I could not get that thing down in there. I finally I was going to break the action before I gave up on it. And finally, click. Oh, thank God. But I got to get that down with these things. It's certain M blocks I have no problem. Other M blocks, they won't load. I can't get them to load right, period. And they're not repops, some of them either. I don't know. I don't know. Chase Kelly, congrats, Hattori. Yeah, congrats. Yeah, I take it you haven't shot it yet, but let us know. What'd you get? Is it Springfield Armory? What year is it? Like to know. Have a Zippo, but carry Bic for day to day. It's a violent extremist Zippo. That it was. Yes, it is. No problem, Joe. We could trade our ship Zippos in any foreign port for just about anything. Really? You know what's cool about Zippos? And I've done it only once or twice. But if you don't have Zippo fluid on hand or Ronson or something like that, you can use almost anything from gasoline to mineral spirits to cologne. anything to fill a Zippo. It may not work quite as good. And actually, when you go back to Zippo fluid, it can take a while to clear it out and make it work completely right. But you can fill them with just about anything. They'll keep going. Squeaky, I own several Zippos, although I use my butane lighters more. Now, Zippo does have butane inserts for their lighters. Really? I didn't know that. Definitely going to order a few. Yeah, guys, Zippos are super collectible too, and there's certain years that were better. It used to be the date codes were on here. You could read it. I would really like a World War II one, like a 41, 42, 43. I don't know how to tell her all at all, but I'd like one. And the reason GIs love them and everybody loves them is in a pinch, they could put anything in there. Naphtha, anything you got can go in there. Any solvent, anything that will burn. And some are safer than others, but it'll all pretty much work. But the best one I ever heard of was cologne or perfume will work in there. And you smell good too. Let's see. 2A, I don't give guns back. If they send it, I keep it. Most will let you buy it at a discount if they like you. Yeah. I'm not cool enough to have people send me guns. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. It does make a better video, Joe, if it's your own. Then you make a tower out of them. Yeah. Shilling my channel. There you go. Yeah, you're not supposed to shill on other people's channel, man. That's just etiquette. Let's see. The video got more views than some of my gun reviews. Which one? The 280U? Yeah, I get more comments. I got to get in and answer the comments because my God, my phone was like blowing up with all the comments. I was like, geez, that was cool. Just shows how many people like 2A because they didn't come there for me, let me tell you. Let's see. Squeaky, my local gun shop still has that OD green Tavor 7. I'm really tempted, but money's tight at the moment. Funny, I saw Tavor for sale on Atlantic yesterday, a black one in stock too, I think. I bought the X95 because I just like it better, but I do want one. And there's something iconic about the original Tavor I'd like to have. But I got the green one, so I'd probably buy a black one in that. And I'd like to find the IDF or whatever, the Israeli Defense Force, IDF version that comes with that optic. I'd like to find one of those. I had one. I was in an auction for one and lost it at the last second. 2ADU, building a community through guns, and the 2A is my primary motivation. Absolutely. What do you guys think of that? Well, I don't really want to get into it, but I'll just say this. And if you guys want to comment, you can comment. But I'm going to make one statement and leave it at that. What'd you think of the red wave / trickle? I was a bit disappointed at the whole thing. I thought for sure we would see better results just because who likes what's going on right now? Nobody. Who can just even support it, But at the end of the day, there's some good in it too. And 2A, let me know what you think about this. While we lost some elections that probably should have been slam dunks, others lost ridiculously. Fetterman, in my mind, what has this world come to when someone like that wins a race? How? You're in a hoodie. You've got a disability that we just don't know if it works or not. What can you communicate? His ideals are they're not even left. They're not even far left. They're completely out there. You want to let ex-murderers out, all this stuff. make all drugs legal. I mean, the thoughts are so insane. And he looks like the villain in a bad Bond film, like a B grade Bond film, uh, uh, bad guy. The neck and the head. He just, he's creepy, scary. He's scary. Um, just never had a job, mom and dad. How does that happen? I got a feeling I know how it happens. I can't say here, but uh, again, I thought so last time, and you'll never convince me that it's real. I don't think so. In a lot of cases, especially the states that have taken forever to count, like now, like we just got to drag this out till we figure out how many we need, kind of deal. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And we don't do anything to stop it. There's no, I don't know. We buy voting machines from Venezuela, and they worry about, and then there's a chain of custody issues. How that lady lost in Arizona. I don't even. Nope, none of it makes any sense. You look at some states where in one race killed it, Republicans killed it, and then in the same state, maybe House versus Senate, it's completely the other way. That doesn't happen. You don't get a runaway on a Republican, and just because maybe the person, no, I still got to believe that the majority of people are voting straight ticket stuff. And those are the ones where you go, where there's obviously nothing crazy, more popular, or this guy was caught raping chickens or something. There's no big difference like that. And there's some huge disparity. I don't know. I don't get it. That's enough of that. I guess the bottom line is the bottom line. We just have to keep up the fight. There's a lot of good here. What I was going to say good about it, and I hope 2A noticed this in Michigan. God, your state's a prime example. How did that happen? How? You tell me. The most Nazi-ish leader on the planet, the things that they did and the lockdowns and all this crap. How did that happen? It makes no sense. You got to ask, like I did in one election years ago. I said, you'd go around. Did you vote for him? 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 No. Who did? And why? Was there anyone in that state that even backed her, or liked her, or didn't have an axe to grind, or did they not remember just a couple months ago and the mandates? Did they not remember what all of these people did to the population over nothing? Nothing. They don't remember. It's true. We have no attention span, like a gnat. But the good news is, and I know it doesn't hold true. Well, it's not really. The governor thing is not really what I'm talking about. Local elections, local people. Local change seemed to happen. I heard from a lot of people that like every Democrat that was running in local elections was pushed out, all Republicans in. They saw a ton of that, which is good because that's where it starts. If you guys don't think that local elections matter, they matter more than anything. School board, stuff like that, town board. That's where the change happens. That's where they're making the change, and they're ahead of us because they got people in there years ago that are now pushing all this bad agenda, from the school stuff to the no bail, all of that stuff. If you guys are not getting involved locally, you're missing the boat. Don't have a kid in school anymore? Who cares? You still live there. Your tax dollars pay for the school. Get on the school board. That's an easy one. Get on the school board. Do something. Get on committees. Do anything you can. Go down to your local sheriff's office, knock on the door and say, hey, Joe, my name is Bapa da Ba and I live there, and I just came down to say hi. Just want to talk to you, get your feeling on a few things, and have a cup of coffee. You game? See where he stands. See what you have in common. And maybe something happens where you can call and say, "Yeah, I need to talk to who's calling, sir." Well, it's Chris. Tell him I talked to him. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Before you know it, people are afraid to do that. They're just people like you and me. And now you can talk. Now, when this stuff hits the fan, you got somebody to go to, somebody to talk to. Maybe you can get a straight answer out of somebody if you ever needed to, right? Uh, get involved. Just get involved. Maybe your sheriff is one of those that is a 2A sanctuary county. Mine is. And I went down and talked to him about it. And I gave him a scenario, a what if. So, Mr. Sheriff, let me ask you this. Let's just say that a certain alphabet soup agency came to you and needed help enforcing this, or was letting you know that they were going to be operating here doing X. What would happen? Something good to know, right? You know what mine said? He said, we wouldn't let them in the county. That's what he said. If we knew they're here, or they came to us, or we found out, we would essentially stand between and push them out. I'm not saying stand between like your front dog or your dog and stand between, but intercept, communicate with, and ask to leave, or try and escort them out. That's the answer I got. That's a pretty good answer, huh? Be nice to know that, wouldn't it? Anyhow, shorts and regular videos are two totally different things. That is like a completely separate site within YouTube. Yeah, I haven't looked into it yet. I know you got to do the vertical thing. I think you can somehow convert, but it doesn't look right. I don't know. I'm using a CZ22 rifle, so I'll combine it with a review. Okay. Rabbit Hole's getting a Tavor 7. Let's see. Rabbit Hole review. A super chat. Thank you, dude. Love it. Appreciate it. Sight scopes, lasers. Yet rifle is fine. Not always. Dude, I'm with you. I love iron sights, and I'm still that guy that, brand new gun, get it sighted in with the irons first and shoot it like that first. And be good with irons. If you guys aren't practicing with irons, you're missing out, because I'll bet a lot of you have a hard time hitting paper. And I'm not talking a full silhouette. I'm talking a 12 by 12 or 16 by 16 or 18 by 18 inch, let's say 18 by 18 inch square target at 100 yards. I'll bet a lot of you guys have a hard time putting 5 rounds all on paper. And I'm not talking, it's not sighted in. I'm saying if the sights are on, I'll bet some of you would have a hard time putting all 5 rounds on paper at 100. If that's the case, then it's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm just saying, especially as you get older, maybe your eyes aren't great. I know if I didn't have the experience I have, I'd have a hard time right now, because things just blur out wrong. Like they used to do it the right way, and now I can't see. It's hard. I have to really concentrate. But if it wasn't for that, I might have a hard time putting 5 rounds on paper. Not because I can't do it or don't have the experience, but my eyesight. But hey, it ain't easy. And I'm talking from a bench. Now, stand up. Stand up, and from a standing position, put 5 rounds on paper at 100 yards. Ain't as easy as it sounds, Pally, for a lot of people. And if you're not doing it, or you can't do it regularly, I'm not saying with every rifle, or you should be able to with any rifle that's sights are accurate, you should be able to pick that gun up and put 5 rounds in a chest-sized target at 100 yards. Can you do it at 200 yards? How about 300? If you can't, man, you better take that optic off and start trying. Get good with that first, then put the red dot on there, then put the scope on there, whatever. You know what the greatest thing about it is? When you do, it's so much easier. You're not even thinking. First of all, you're working with the irons. You're going to have to use, proper form and technique, uh, trigger control, all those things, stance. How many of you use your slings to stabilize a rifle when you're standing? How many of you know how to? You should learn it for sure. It makes it so much easier if you know how to use a sling. Slings aren't just there for carrying guns. Learn. All I'm telling you is, and I'm not preaching to you guys, do what you want, but learn. It's that much easier. Hey, if you're shooting an LPVO, turn it down to 1 power, 2 power. Shoot at the lowest power you can. That way, when it counts, you can crank it up, and it's like child's play. Don't put it up to 6 or 8 right away and leave it there. Learn how to do it. Let's see. Camera girl, cameraman. Yeah. Oh, and I'm just kidding you about Linda. I know she's not a stalker. She's a nice girl, and she can cook. She can cook. And as sweet as could be. I really enjoy talking to her when I get the chance. I was shocked she remembered some of the things we talked about last year. That was good. I had forgotten the conversation even. I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. I wish I had more time. I wish I wasn't late because there's so many people I wanted to spend more time with and talk to again like last year. Now that I knew them, it'd be even better, like Jane and just everybody. Pillbox, all of them. It was just a ton of fun. She does have a thing for you. You can tell. She's always trying to see your backside. I don't know. She's sneaking around back behind you. I am watching Trump can't hang today. Oh, is he doing a speech today? Pattern in front of crowd reminds me of Jim Jones. Yeah. Yeah, if you darken his hair up and put some sunglasses on him. The man has a talent with the crowd. There is no doubt. But last Tuesday taught me one thing. I don't think he's got a shot. I really don't. I think if DeSantis is getting in, that's your man. I don't get me wrong. I'm not a Trump lover, and I'm not a Trump hater. I love what he did with the time he had. And if he was the only choice, let's say, versus like DeSantis, for sure. But I just don't think enough people can see past a lot of the, how many times did people say, oh my God, if he would just shut up, I don't care one way or another. I look past it. I understand the personality. My industry has a lot of people like him with egos like that. I know how to deal with it. And I know that's not the part that counts. It's not the part that works, that gets it done. Sometimes it is the part that gets things done. But if you're a person that listens to them and you just can't, it bugs you so much for some reason, what do you care? Who cares? Doesn't matter. You get past it. It's what are the accomplishments? Look at how the world viewed the country when he was here. Maybe they didn't like him, but they had respect for the country. That's for sure, because they didn't know what would happen. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Sometimes being unpredictable is a good thing. Um, I would bitch slap someone putting ketchup on a steak that I grilled. About 300 yards is my limit for anything practical with irons. Yeah, me too. If that. Now, I haven't shot 300 with irons in a long, long time. And it's funny now that I'm full time in Wisconsin. We have a 300-yard range not far from me. So this coming summer, I will get out there a lot more. Kent and Wayne counties will deliver for Dems every time. Yeah, well, we know that. Uh, when you have a sitting president who mocks 2A supporters by saying we have, yeah, F-15s. Yeah, or talks about deer in Kevlar vests. Like it's, he's got to know that it has nothing to do with hunting, right? But yet they go back to that story. Why? Well, because that's still how the uninformed think. They think, well, you can go hunt your ducks, you know. They don't get it. They don't get it. They say this was the most free and fair election of all time, fortified like it has never been fortified. Yeah. Fortified against who? Oregon passed the worst gun control laws. Yes, they did. Um, it amazes me how people will so easily vote away their rights due to fear or just vote it away. They don't see the importance. They don't see the fact that a gun is not there for hunting. In my opinion, this self-protection argument bugs me too. That's intrinsic in it. So I don't know why they continually push this. They don't want you to have a gun to protect yourself. It's not about that to me. That's intrinsic in gun ownership. It's there to protect you, right? But that's not what we should talk about and push. We talk about defense against a tyrannical government. That's it, period. End of story. The rest is intrinsic. It's meaning it's part of it. That's the only reason that is there for, in my opinion. What say ye to AEDU? I hear a lot of people that know, that understand what it's there for, channels, but yet they'll go with that right to self-defense instead of the tyrannical government thing. I think they think that in whatever platform they're speaking in, what's his name? The black dude, Kaline Noir, whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. He always does that. They don't want you to have the right to defend yourself with a modern sporting rifle. It has nothing to do with defending myself. I'll defend myself either way. It has everything to do with going against a government that's turning tyrannical. That's what it has to do with. And it's not giving me anything. It's telling the government their limitations. It's not telling me what I can do. It's telling the government its limitations of what it can do. And they get that, but I don't. And I get it. Okay, you want to go with that point of my right to self-defense, self-preservation. Sure, I guess self-preservation from the standpoint of preserving my life and my liberty against a government who's turned tyrannical. Sure, that's self-defense, I guess, but they're using it from the boogeyman or the bad guy breaking in. Always, that's what he does on his channel. And he talks about it sometimes, but I think it depends the platform, who they're speaking to, and from what viewpoint that other party is coming from. They don't want to use those terms defending against a tyrannical government. I think they think that sounds too tinfoil hattish or too out there. That do you really believe that your government would? Or the old, well, how are you going to fight back against, F-15s and all this other stuff? I don't know. Why don't you ask the men of Afghanistan, how they did it? Nothing but small arms for the most parts and improvised devices, right? Guerrilla warfare. They've been doing it for hundreds of years against how many countries? And they've pushed every one of them out. And they keep on going. They've pushed the biggest superpowers of the centuries out of their lands. Amazing. But I guess that should answer the how are you going to do that thing, right? It's a whole nother story when you're defending your land, your country, your lifestyle, your family, your neighbors, your property, right? There's a whole nother investment there. There's a whole nother heart, patriotism, whatever you want to call it. It's a whole different level than fighting over someone else's soil or on someone else's soil or over somebody else's problem, right? There's a bigger devotion. That's how that works. And can it happen? I ask a lot of people this question all the time, and I've actually asked my wife's grandparents who lived through it, were there during World War II. They were in Germany, but I ask people this all the time. I said, "Do you think the German people or the Polish had any idea 30, 60, 90 days before what was going to come down the pipe and what it was going to look like just 6 months later or a year later? How they were living their life one day and 1 year later what it would look like. Do you think they had any idea? I think some saw it coming, but it was always, it's human nature to say, nah, ain't gonna happen to me. Nah, yeah, it looks kind of like it. Yeah, that is kind of similar, but it's not gonna happen here. Or subconsciously, they realize it. They know it. They feel it. They feel it here. They feel it in their bones, what's happening, what's coming down. But they don't know how to stop it or change it. And that's very scary. So they do this. La, 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 la. That's what they do. They're the ostrich putting their head in the sand. They know it. And they feel it. And subconsciously, they know it's going to happen. They don't know what to do about it. So they're scared. They don't have an answer. So rather than think about it constantly and worry about it, that's what they do. The people that go, shut up already. They're smart, but they just don't know. And maybe they're not as ready or haven't made a conscious decision of what the line in the sand is or anything like that. So there's more fear there. But usually it's that feeling of helplessness, right? Like, how am I going to do anything? How can I change this? Well, you may not be able to change it like I always say. What are you going to do? You decide the time is here. You're going to gear up, throw on a plate carrier, grab your rifle and your ammo, go stand out by the road, by the mailbox. All right, guys, I'm ready. Huh, nobody out here. Is that what you're going to do? That's how they feel, right? They want to do something. They want to make change or change things to the way they should be, but there's no vehicle for it, or they feel there's no vehicle. The vehicle is voting. The vehicle is you making a difference. The vehicle is you getting involved, but they see it as imminent, or the whatever they're going to do has to be now. It has to happen now. The change has to happen now. It needs to be snap my fingers and it's done. Um, uh, and it just doesn't work that way. How long did it take to get here? And it'll take that long or longer to get it back. Now, maybe if something truly horrific happened, that it may or may not take less time, but nobody ever wants it to come to that, right? That's the worst thing you could ever imagine. And I love these guys that push for it. Like, come on, let's go. Are you stupid? Are you just stupid or retarded? Which one? You don't ever want to wish for that. Those people have no clue what bad is or how bad it can get. When the water stops running and the power doesn't turn on and there's no gasoline and there's no movement, you can't move, you can't travel, you don't have food, you don't have heat. Everything is a struggle. Getting up in the morning is a struggle. Finding something the least bit to put in your stomach is a struggle. Water is a struggle and a process. Everything's got this huge process behind it. The minute the trucks stop running, right? 3 days later, you're in a living hell. 3 days. A little longer, the more rural you get. But you don't want it. That's the last thing. There's a line in the movie Patriot, and it's Mel Gibson that says it. And he says, we've tried, the other guy says, we've tried negotiating, we've written letters, we've this, then we do it again, and again if necessary, and again. But the last thing you want to do is go to war, right? You don't want that to happen, ever. You don't want the violence. There's other ways to handle it, and you have to figure it out. The problem is, they seem to be one step ahead on every front. They've been putting people into local office for decades now. Soros has been backing all these attorney generals, and they're bought and paid for. And that's why you're seeing all this no bail. Look at Illinois. What's going to happen there the end of the year here? Wait till that stuff happens. Let's see how they feel. And it's unfortunate. Because it's funny, in Wisconsin, they hate Illinois people. They just do. They rely on them for their income because of all the tourism, whether it's hunting, fishing, snowmobiling, boating, summer fun, all of that. They rely on them, but they hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. We call them flatlanders down there, or fibs. We call them fibs, effing Illinois bastards. It's unfortunate that the entire state of Illinois has to be put under the umbrella of Chicago, because if it weren't for that city, Illinois would be a very conservative state. When you get down to southern Illinois, is a much bigger state than people think. When you get down to southern Illinois, I grew up in Chicago. When I get down to southern Illinois, I think I'm in another country. It's Kentucky. When you get south of Springfield, it's Kentucky. It might as well be. They talk different. They think different. They do everything different. It's totally different people. They have nothing to do with what someone would think an Illinoisan would look like, or sound like, or vote like. They're not from Illinois, although they are. It's a shame. But how do you change it? That's the problem. They've been changing the demographic. The Democrats have been changing the demographic of these cities forever. And the problem is now they're changing the demographic of your town, my town, little towns, country. They did it in Illinois for years. When they closed the projects in the city, you know what they did? There's a famous project in the city of Chicago called Cabrini Green. And when my father was a police officer there, you could get overtime or get extra pay by working your day off or taking an extra shift and doing what they called the vertical patrol. You would go up and down the floors patrolling at Cabrini Green. You didn't dare ride the elevators because they'd stop them between floors and throw Molotovs on you. When I was in, you could go up. We went up, had a brand new squad car one day. Got a call down there. We're humping it up to the 5th floor or something. Brand new squad. Finally had one with air conditioning. Sweating our ass off before that. And we got to about the 4th floor and the alarm started going off, the trunk alarm. So I told my partner, go on, I'll go down. So I go down, I get there, and the guy's trying to pry the trunk open to get the shotgun out. Used to have the shotgun between the seats, but the city council decided that was too intimidating to carry our shotguns there. They had to be in the trunk. So they were trying to pry the pry bar with a pry bar, pry open the trunk to get the shotgun. But before they did that, or somebody else, I guess, they decided to break every piece of glass and plastic out of that brand new car that was on it. The car had like 300 miles on it. And there was nothing glass or plastic left on the car. And he wasn't able to get to the trunk. He took off running. I turned around, went back upstairs, and left it there thinking, Jesus Christ. Sergeant pulled up. That was it. Back to no air conditioning again. All of 20 minutes you had the goddamn car. What do you want me to do? Then we got to the 5th floor. And it was a domestic call. And knock on the door. Lady answers the door. Can I help you? Typical pink robe, rollers in her hair, all that shit. And she goes, yeah, you can help me. You can get rid of him. Well, she said, didn't say it so nicely. She said, you get rid of this MFer over here. And she points. Stuck my head around the corner. There's a guy sitting on the couch. TV going. TV tray next to him with some food on it. And he's sitting there with a butcher knife sticking out of his shoulder here about this far. And he's got a towel wrapped around it. And he's sitting there watching TV. I said, sir, you all right? What happened? The bitch stabbed me. All right. You all right now? You doing okay? I'm all right. But I want her out of there. She wants me out of here. I ain't going anywhere. I said, you going to press charges against this lady? No. It's all right. Sign here. See you later. Yep. Lost a brand new squad car over that one. They wouldn't sign. I could have back then. You could have taken one, but yeah. Different time, different world. Things worked different back then. Yeah, there are some good sheriffs out there, and that's what you got to worry about. So you know, in my opinion, the most important elected official you will vote for is your local sheriff. They hold more power in your county than just about anybody else. It's that important. Find out their history. Find out, how if they've had other jobs or other political positions, maybe how they voted on things, what their thoughts are, what they're running on. And sheriffs are accessible enough in most cases, especially in rural counties, that you can have a one-on-one with them on any day and take advantage of it. Make sure you are taking advantage of it. Kalamazoo. I used to like Kalamazoo, Western Michigan University. I used to go there a lot to see a friend of mine. Yeah, a lot of good local officials, but it still stinks that they push the garbage through. Yeah. You know what I'm asking you guys to do? Don't just bitch about it. Get involved. That's the bottom line. You want to know how to change it? That's how you change it. Sitting here bitching and talking and the chat and me yapping and 2A going through his stuff isn't going to change anything. The only thing we can do is motivate you to do something. Get involved. I know everybody works. You're tired. You're this. You're that. The meeting, I can't get there. Get to a city council meeting. Get to one. Go to a few. See how it works. Talk to the people there. Promise you, someone you don't know out of the blue will just approach you or make a comment or something, start a conversation. And 2-3 meetings, you'll be way more involved than you ever thought you could be, because you'll have met a couple of people, you'll have a conversation, you'll have something in common, you'll be for or against one thing. Next thing you know, you'll be involved, you find out the process, how it happens, all this stuff. And it's pretty simple when it comes down to it, guys. But get involved, and you can't do it. This isn't something that happens 30 days before an election. If your election just happened, great. Start tomorrow, but you'll figure it out, and it'll be easy. And it may not be you running for a position, but it may be somebody you meet and learn that is the right person, and you can help them. That's what you do. I met a guy through a local TV station in town who is now the advertising rep for that station. And he was there. I was buying advertising from him. And we got to talking, and I find out he held office and he helped with another campaign. And then a guy I worked with helped with a state representative's campaign. And then he jumped on board when he ran for a federal position. And it's amazing. And these are guys you never thought. There's one guy I thought he ain't got enough brains to, but it's amazing. And when you get to talking to him, oh, wait, this guy does know what he's talking about. And if this guy can help, he basically did all the promotion and everything for this one. If this guy can do it and get this guy elected, and he's a good guy. Now, I worked on his campaign with my wife. And to find out that this particular gentleman helped with his first campaigns in a true grassroots movement, I was shocked. Wow. Okay. Now I can learn from this guy. And I go to breakfast with this one particular politician, and he tells us what it's like and what he's up against down there. And it just, you learn so much, and before you know it, you're involved. And if you're the right person for the job, someone will let you know, actually. In a lot of cases, maybe not in all, but it's amazing, and you'll feel involved, and there's a lot of camaraderie. And hey, worst case, you get to know your neighbors and make some friends and people you can really count on too, should things go south one day. It's good to know these people, and you're doing a lot of good, and you're doing what they're doing. It doesn't take all that much of your time either, because a couple hours here or there, maybe it turns into more hours, but all of a sudden now it's fun, and you're making some change, and magically you find the time. And it's more recreation in some cases, or a lot of it to go along with it to make it fun. Yeah, it's hard work too, but you'll find the time. All it takes is getting started, taking that first step. Go to a city council meeting, go to a school board meeting, something like that. That's what counts. That's where you can make the change. Can you affect the outcome of a vote in Washington somehow? Maybe, as part of lots of other people doing the same thing. But you have a much better chance of seeing your work come to fruition and seeing the reaping the benefits of it, and actually making a difference if you do that. Trust me, it's great. Mine started because my wife got involved first. She got involved with a local women's Republican organization. And one morning she got me up on a Sunday morning and says, "Come on, we're going to breakfast." I said, "Oh, honey, let me sleep." She said, "No, come on. You're going to like the place." And this local restaurant was actually had all the memorabilia from a local airport that used to be an army base in World War II. And they had almost like a museum in there, all the uniforms and all the stuff that had went on at this little local airport that I never knew of. And I got to look and see all this neat surplus military things people had donated, and sit on this breakfast, this women's Republican breakfast, with all ladies. I was the only guy there. One other husband, I think, came. He helped set up the PA system or whatever. And I sat in and sat with these ladies and had breakfast, saw some really cool stuff. And the next thing you know, I'm talking with this guy, and her husband wants to get together, and we're going to go shooting. And by the way, he's working on, I think the guy at the time, his name was John Cabello. It was the one where it was a state representative. A lot of you guys probably wouldn't know him, but this is going back a few years down in Illinois. But one thing led to another, and before you know it, we're doing all kinds of cool stuff, and we're making a difference. And that's what you do, guys. And you'll never know where it leads. If you're working for a Republican organization or any town organization, it all goes up the ladder, right? I'm pretty sure one day we might just see 2AEDU running for something. You never know. Garand, here, Hattori Hanzo. Garand is an essay. If the database I'm reviewing is reliable, it was made in December of 43. Awesome, dude. You got a World War II gun. Original stock or restocked, original barrel? Look at the date on the barrel. Just pull the charging handle back and you'll be able to see it through the wood there. You'll be able to see the date on the barrel. See if it's an original barrel. Let's see. My Garands are SA. I want International Harvester. Yeah, mine's an SA too. Boy, I'd like a Winchester, but they're a lot of money. But I don't care. They're all cool. I just like earlier one than I have. Mine's a early, like February or March of 45. So while they consider it a wartime one, did it get there? I don't know. Would have had to have some FedEx shipping, I guess. I don't know. But I consider it a World War II one. And it's very nice. It's restocked, which I'd like to have an original stock. But my OCD likes the new stock too. So I don't know. Orion, it's a long story, but I'll recover. What happened, Orion? I got to go back a little, see what happened to him. Gort, I had a bullet come through the roof of my work van next to Cabrini Green in the 70s. No kidding. I know a guy that used to buy crack at Robert Taylor Homes. Those were right along 90. Those were bad too. Yeah. He had some, shall we say, interesting stories. I'm not a racial person at all, but immigration is not helping either. Too much foreign influence in our government. It's not about being racist. Nobody's racist. Not today's day and age. Sure. Does it exist out there in its truest, most terrible form? Sure. I'm sure it does. Is there forms of racism in everyday stuff we do? Sure, I guess. Do they mean harm by it? No. Are things getting better? They're way better than they ever were. Nobody can say this country is systemically racist. No way. It's not. And no one has anything against wanting to close our border or keep illegal aliens from coming in is not a racist thing. It's loving your country and being a country. We want people here. This country, every one of us, someone in our family came over here. They were the first ones to come here. And so somewhere in our family, it's all happened. But we did it the right way. And that's how it should be, to flood into the country. And you get all the benefits this country has to offer without paying for any of it, um, or going through a process even, is just not right. It's not right. You can't do it in any other country in the world. So are these folks saying that the entire world is systemically racist? I don't think so. And it's not Mexico that we're worrying about here. They're not Mexicans for the most part. Yeah, are they coming in? Sure. But it's God knows. We don't even know is the problem. We don't know. And they're putting the equivalent of my little town somewhere in the country 5 times a day. So a town like mine pops up 5 times a day with that many people in it. How does that happen? So when I started talking about changing demographics, now they're really changing them. They're changing that voter base everywhere. That's why you're seeing these states go from red states to purple states. That's what's happening. It's not redistricting, all of it. It's all the same. There's been that same push forever. That's how they're changing it, guys. They're moving it. That I started to tell you when they shut Cabrini Green down. Literally, I know this happened firsthand. My father saw this happen. He was a police officer at the time. They shut those housing projects down. They loaded them on buses, coach-style buses, and the buses pulled away from the curb. And I'll tell you where a lot of them ended up. They ended up in several places, but this I know firsthand. They pulled up into a little town called not a little town, big. It's bigger than a little town, but it's not anywhere near even like a Rockford or something like that. They pulled up into Freeport, Illinois, late at night, and the doors opened and everybody off. And they stepped out with what they had on them, and here's your new home. They closed the doors and the buses drove away. There was no government assistance with finding housing. There was no nothing. There they were. And they had to figure it out. And now you go to this little town in the middle of farmland, rural USA, and the entire climate has changed out there. Everything. Everything. And I'm not saying this from a racist standpoint. It was 99.9% white. And now it's the town of Rockford is now, I don't even know. I'll bet it's 50-50 at least. What's funny is what was a booming town. Honeywell was headquartered there. There was a Goodyear tire plant there. There was a lot of big companies out there. They're all gone. Every one of them gone. Why? I don't know. What happened to the workforce? It's still there. They pulled from rural areas. They pulled from the city. Their town. It's not a city, but it's completely changed. And now the entire town, the city proper. It's funny. There's a couple law firms in town that do nothing but fight Social Security cases for disability. And I can tell you firsthand because I worked in that town and I had a lot to do with arranging loans for people in that town. And they literally, I'm not kidding you, they pride themselves on getting each and every one of their children on Social Security disability. Kid could be 5 years old, and these attorneys figure out a way to have that kid legally labeled disabled to get checks. They're breaking the law doing it. They're lying, cheating, and stealing to do it. The attorneys I'm talking about. But it's like celebrated when they win the suit out there, and it's bragged about. And everything's changed. Everything. The average credit score out there, I can tell you firsthand because I ran the credit bureaus. The average credit score is in the 400 range, 420 to 450 maybe. Um, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the change in 15 years. Uh, and it's spreading out now rural from there. It's creeping in. It's insidious. It's crazy. The schools have changed. My good friend Jake from Too Fat Tactical lives out that way, and he can't send his kids to the public schools. It's too much violence, too many fights, gunfights in the streets. This is rural Illinois. That never happened. Now you have gunfights up and down the streets every night. He had to move because the bullets were flying past his house every night. In Farmtown, USA. You think it's bullshit, or you think, oh, that's a Fox News thing or propaganda? No, it's not. I see it with my own two eyes. I watched it. I didn't know anything about Freeport, Illinois. Hell, I'll take my chances in Chicago. Another town down there, Rockford, Illinois. Same thing. That was a booming town. It was the fastener capital of the United States. Nuts, bolts, every piece of hardware. Big money in this town back then. You should see some of these old mansions and everything. Now, all the big companies have left. Downtown is empty, a shambles, abandoned buildings. They're trying to do what they can do. But yeah, and the violence, it was rated the #1 most dangerous city in America like 2 or 3 years running in the last 5-6 years. It's on, even the hospital moved out. The guy that bought the hospital promised the city he was going to build a new hospital out on the highway, but they made him they'd give him the permits if he promised to keep the old one open. Otherwise, there was nothing to serve that entire inner city population. And what was the first thing he did? He started switching, moving everybody out there, closing this building, that building. It's gone. He just told the city that. Too bad. What are you going to do to him? Nothing. Nothing. But the same thing happened there. Same thing. Brought them all in from Chicago. Closed down all the, and then the property Robert Taylor Homes was on, and the property Cabrini Green was on. Cabrini Green now has high dollar, high rent district, great zip code townhomes on it now that you got to make $500,000 a year to afford. That's what they did. Now that's money, that's property that belonged to the city. So I wonder who got that and how they got it and what they paid for it. Amazing, huh? You'd cut a deal, right? If you could take what had a couple high rises on it and turn it into a couple, 200, 300, 400 townhomes at $500,000 a piece. Yep. Sweet deal. And meanwhile, they don't, it's Chicago. They don't care. Rockford. Who are they? I wish I had never named it Rockford Ordinance, because now where I live, I wouldn't, it'd be something else. I wouldn't want to carry that with me. However, what are you going to do? You know, but yeah. And that's why my wife first started getting involved, because it was creeping out toward our little gorgeous farm town. When I say I'd still be there. I love it there. If I could be 30 miles north over the border. But because the town is wonderful, the people are wonderful. It's quaint, it's quiet, it's good people and good kids, and the second best school district in the state at one point. But we just saw it coming, you know, and it's unreal. And for those of you that don't think it's important to fight for your Second Amendment rights, that's not all you need to fight for. You need to make the change. because the change in that push on the Second Amendment comes from what's doing all this other stuff. And that's how they're doing it. That's how they're getting the change to happen and the push to happen against the second, because they're changing the demographic, the thought process. They're thinking, they're changing what your kids need to think. One day it's happening. I see it already. I saw it with friends' kids where they don't respect the parents' opinion. And it's not that they're not good parents. And the parents did something about it. But it had been done to the kids already, and they had to change them back. They didn't respect the parents. It had been ingrained in them that the parents didn't know what they were talking about and that they shouldn't listen to it. It's a little town where everybody knows everybody, and nobody knew that that's what was being pushed. Where your teachers live amongst you, and you just got to know what's going on and when to push them out. So, yeah, get involved. That's all I'm going to tell you. Squeaky, several people nearby, a few of them my friends that had multiple mail-in ballots each sent for their dead relatives here in, is that PA, Pennsylvania? I can't read it. All you do is sign for them, and although fairest election ever, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Wisconsin passed some great things. No more. We don't have the drop boxes we used to have. Some great election laws they put into place up here, and hopefully we keep doing more. Yeah, they really jumped in and did it. Remember all the talk about it 4 years or 2 years ago, and what was done? I kept saying it just fell off out of the news cycle, right? Nothing was done. Nothing. And what happens? That all those states in question, all the questionable ones, all the ones that are for all the donuts, right? Just magically, there's the ones that can't get it counted in time. But yet Florida, with its population, its huge increase in population, they got it done. When they can't get it done, there's a problem. And it's a bad problem. And it's a legal problem. And it's an insidious problem. It's not, oh, geez, there's a glitch. It's not a glitch. Promise you. What else? Gort, using my link is what gives me credit. The code is to help you. All I need. Oh, he's talking about his codes. Yeah, 2A puts out a lot of stuff on deals out there, and all guys use them. It's good deals, and it helps him out. Daily got rich. You damn right on that one. My sister lives in Marengo, Illinois, which isn't far. Yeah, I know where. I got friends in Marengo. There's a big gun shop in Marengo, Illinois. Marengo Guns. Knew a guy whose nephew worked there. I think he went and started his own gun shop though now. I haven't been there in years. Never bought anything from there. But it was always a good place to go look. They had a lot of used guns, which was kind of cool to look through. But they're famous for, like a lot of shops are, anything good that comes in, the people working there, the owner, the managers, the salespeople, they grab all the good stuff that comes in. You don't see any of the good stuff hit the shelves. I heard through my buddy that they got a bunch of Bakelite mags in one time. I drove down there and asked about them. And the one guy looked at the other guy behind the counter and he says, "Hey, this guy's looking for Bakelite mags." They started laughing. They grabbed them all. And the funny thing was, the one guy wasn't even keeping them. He put them on eBay. Or it was one of the sites. I forget what. This is a while back. Pillbox, you're on point. I've been seeing it for decades. Sad. Yeah. But you know what's sad? It's sad that we haven't done anything about it. Now maybe we haven't seen it. Maybe it's finally getting to the point where you're seeing it so much you're going, "Yep, that's what's happening." But now is the time to not say sad. It's now's the time to get involved. I and Pill, I get it, man. We're older. Some of us older than others. No, I'm kidding. But you see, well, it's time to slow down. Maybe you're tired. I don't want the time or the hassle. But if we got the time, you know, we've got the knowledge. We've seen it. We've got the life experience that maybe we can make a difference. Maybe that's what we do with our time. At least help. Maybe it's not us, but we help those that can or will. I got to do something. You can't. We just can't sit back. And I know you're not. That's not what you mean. I know that. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate that I know what you mean when you say sad. You don't mean what I was talking about there, but that's what others do. They just, well, what am I going to do about it? Kind of thing. When that's not the case. Anyhow, let's get back, and then I'm going to cut it, guys, because we're pushing 3 hours here, man. But I want to talk about the get together. So Chris came and he had that BAR and he had the MP40. Now, my dad, as some of you know, talk about, because some of the wonderful stuff I have was his, either given to me or still is his, until I get it one day, which I hope he has it forever. I hope he's here forever. But he was always a gun guy. And back in the 70s, if you had even an AR or, God, for an AK or stuff, you were looked at a little differently. Back then, guys that were shooting at or into that stuff were almost kind of fringe-ish, when you walked in local gun shops, it was all wood on the rack and hunting shotguns, or where we went, there was the fine gun room. And you went in, there were nice trap guns and stuff like that. And 1911s were the big thing. Everybody was shooting IPSC. And Mark Krebs was actually the gunsmith there at this shop. It was in Glenview, Illinois. It was called the Marksman. And I didn't know it at the time. Obviously, I was a 16-year-old kid, but I'd go in there with my dad all the time. My dad was into everything, but he loved military stuff. He loved Colt single actions. He was one of the largest private collectors of Colt single actions in the country. He had every second generation Colt they ever made brand new in the box, in every color, length, this, that, the other. He had a lot of first generation stuff, really cool stuff. Military guns, FNs, AKs, ARs, SP1s, my Bakelite side folder, a Belgian-made sear-cut FN. And at the time, you didn't think nothing of these guns. Nothing of them. They were just cheap stuff, It wasn't all the Max, Uzis, the good Uzis in the blue and gold boxes, all kinds of stuff. And we had it all. And he'd take me to the range and we could shoot all of it, We'd have a blast. Well, he got one gun, an NFA gun, went through the whole process, all that stuff, and got an original World War II MP40. Just like Chris's, but I don't recall it having as much of the bluing on it. It was worn, but it was in great shape too. I may be wrong. I was little. I was a young kid, but we shot the piss out of that thing. To the point my dad reloaded 9, and that's all. He reloaded 9 and 45 for zip-stick matches, and 9, and then tons of shotgun for trap. But I shot that MP40 one time. He had some loads he had loaded up out of hard cast stuff. And I shot that MP40 so much I leaded the barrel on him. Was he pissed? Oh, man. And you had to clean it all up. And that one, and what else did I shoot? An Intech KG9. I would shoot those. Just shoot them and shoot them and shoot them and shoot them. we had a big firewood stack. And yeah, I don't know that it was so good. We burned all that firewood, heavy puddles of lead in the bottom of the fireplace. Neighbors would come over in the morning. Who won the war? We'd have fun out back, just shooting and shooting. But I got a lot of time with an MP40, probably more than most German World War II soldiers did that carried them. I probably put more rounds through that thing. And he didn't mind. He didn't mind. He ended up, a lot of the stuff got sold. The stuff that was worth a lot of money, like that became, um, got sold. Some of it he teases me all the time, paid for my education. But because my parents they fell on some hard times for a while. Um, Late 70s when the interest rates went through the roof and all. My dad was in business. He had a very hard time. We barely got through it. And to tell you the truth, if it wasn't for the gun collection, parts of it, stuff that were uh, may not have been meant to be wise decisions, but just ended up being, um, pulled them through, you know. And I can see that now. I look what I pay for some of these guns and what they're worth today. Maybe it'd be the same thing. I definitely look at them as an investment. Not that I would ever, it would have to be dire straits for me to sell anything, but it's there. I tell my wife when she gets upset about it, money or whatever, I tell her, I said, it's as good as having cash or a gold bar, better than cash. That's for goddamn sure, especially today. But, and it's God's honest truth. I mean, I don't know that I've ever lost money on a gun. Um, but anyhow, yeah, I shot the heck out of that thing. My brother too. And it was so cool. And it would be, we didn't have back in the day, he didn't have a gun safe. Well, he did, but it wasn't there. But that gun used to be in a bathroom closet. um, that's just where it got put out of the way one day, company coming over or something, and put it in there, and that's where it ended up staying. So anytime we go to range, we'd have to go get it, whatever, if we were going to shoot out back or something. But yeah, what an amazing gun. So to see that gun there and shoot it again, I was like taking me back. I was like, so much fun. And I wanted to shoot it more, but what I didn't do as a kid was just see how slow I could run it. Like could I get single shots out of it, or just two rounds. And that's, if you look in the video, that's what I did. But as a kid, of course, you were just mag dumping that bitch, and me and my brother, we'd have a strap down, and my brother go, "I want to see your papers, please." Let it rip. And we thought that was just hilarious. But yeah, that gun, it brought back a lot of fun memories, shooting that gun. And Chris said, "You know how to run it, right?" I said, "Oh yeah, I know how to run this one." Um, it was fun. I wish that's probably the one gun I wish most that he still had, that I could go to me. But God, it was a fun gun. Now the BAR, obviously, that's new to just about anybody. Um, I just remember that John Wayne movie, John Wayne yelling, "Bring up the bar," and or the opening scene in Saving Private Ryan, after they're on the beach and they're at the sand mound at the grass line, and there's that they're right in front of a pillbox, but there's a tower further up to the right with a couple Germans up there with a machine gun in it, a nest like up there, and they're just raining it down, right? And he's got the mirror, and he puts it around the corner. He says, "We got to take them out." He says, "Get the bar up here." And he told them, go gather up a BAR and some ammo, I believe he told them. And he said they asked for covering fire so the two guys could get up closer, and he stepped out with that BAR and just boom, 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 boom. And you see the stones and the rocks falling, and then you see the two Germans come falling out of the tower down onto, and they're just letting them have it. And that BAR is something. Hickok 45 has a good video on a BAR, and he shoots it against a cinder block wall. Yeah, that's guys. Everybody thinks 30-06 is a deer cartridge, but obviously it was a military cartridge first, as are so many of our classic cartridges. And that 30-06, man, that's almost a perfect cartridge in a lot of ways. Um, it's fast, heavy hitting, flat shooting for what it is, and just packs such a wallop, man. If you've never owned a 30-06, never even seen a cartridge, next time you're at the gun shop, grab a box 30-06, open it up, and take a look at a round. Think 7.62 by 54R on those lines. All those big battle cartridges. That was our big battle cartridge. That's what we fought World War I with, and World War II it was in the BAR, and man, that's what a round. I mean, that packs some punch. What's wonderful about the BAR is it's so smooth. I wanted to shoot it on slow, which I did because, when you think all of us do this, whether it's something we're fond of, a gun or uh, whatever it may be, we have a mind's eye picture, or if you close your eyes and you think about someone running that gun or a movie you saw, you have a certain expectation of what it's like. And to me, a BAR is in that slow mode, that boom, 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 that chug mode, And the fast, while it's impressive and it's awesome to see, I wanted to shoot, and I could have shot it in fast mode, slow mode. I wanted to shoot it in slow mode, and I didn't want to do the Magnum thing. Like, I had these opportunities when I was younger. That same Marksman gun shop I talk of, my dad was good friends with the owner. That guy had a lot of money, and he was big in the gun industry. He was, Guns Digest. They used to come out, the soft cover. He was on the cover of a few of them. His name was Jimmy Arcus. And Jimmy had a lot of money. He had a private plane and stuff. And my dad befriended him, and they'd fly to different shoots in his little Cessna or whatever the hell he had. And one time they flew us up to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, in this small plane, and we unloaded all these rifle cases. I'm talking big stuff because we brought some serious firepower. We had an M60. We had all kinds of crap, and we were shooting in a quarry up there. The local sheriff department showed up hey guys, he was hiding behind a tree when he yelled down to us, "Hey, mind if I come down? Everything clear?" Wanted to see what was going on. Their switchboard had lit up. When we started going to town, we had an old lawnmower in the bottom, and the game was see how long you could hold it in the air, hitting it with the M60. And so I got to shoot just a ton of stuff. But the shit, while I'm thankful for it every day, it's a shame I was so young, because you remember it, but you don't recall the details. You know what I mean? And for all I know, I think I would have remembered if I had shot a BAR. I don't think I did. But unlike then, I wanted to do anything but a mag dump. So I just enjoyed it, took my time, and it was fun. And then when I saw Chris do that on Fast, when he just dumped that one, damn, what a historic. I can't think of much else that is, and it may not be super well known by, like, my wife won't know what it is, or maybe your buddy Jim doesn't know what a BAR is, but for a gun that enough people know about it, where it's iconic and popular, sort of, but yet nobody's ever shot one or seen one in person. You know what I mean? Some people have, few, but gun tubers, stuff like that, or someone like me that fell into this position to be able to be there to shoot something like that, it just impresses me that, God, I was able to see it, touch it, hold it, shoot it, look at it, take pictures of it, see what it's all about. And that thing was mint, guys. Wow, that thing, wouldn't you agree? That thing was just mint. Um, and what impressed me even more is that Chris let a bunch of idiots like us just rock away with it, you know? Um, that's that's an expensive gun. Holy moly. I was talking to him about values, and I believe he told me, not on the BR, but on the MP5, MP5, on the MP40, that he believed it to be worth somewhere around $20,000 on a normal NFA sale. You know, if someone were to find one at auction, buy it as a legal machine gun, all that, about 20 grand. And I said, wow, I truly don't think that sounds so bad when, like, the cheapest things that you can buy machine gun wise, legal machine gun wise, are about 8 grand for like a Mac. And a Mac is, but that, I'd almost, and I get it. I guess it's relative, right? As to what values are today. And while my dad would go, 20, are you kidding me? An MP40, 20 grand? I didn't pay, 2 grand or so, or $1,000. That was a lot of money back then, right? But 20 grand in the grand scheme of things, when a Vepper's 4 grand or something, doesn't seem, or 6 grand, doesn't seem all that bad. And I thought, man, maybe I could, if I sold this and sold that, and sold it, maybe I could find one and buy one. And because few rifles have been uh, available to the public to view, touch, shoot, that are as popular as or known as a BAR is, but yet the public hasn't had hardly any interaction with one. That's, to me, what makes it so cool, and why I feel so privileged to have been able to shoot something like that. And I don't think I'll ever have the opportunity, or that there'd be another gun that could be so cool. I don't know. I don't know. I just really thank everybody for that, and all of you for putting that on. Linda for cooking, and the kids for just being fun and cute, and Jeremy for going and getting all those prizes and everything. We had a raffle, and just everything. It's I see it as being one of those events that gets bigger and better every year. And look, last year it was just us guys, and this year we had a celebrity there, for Christ's sake. And I'm not talking about the gun, Um, Chris's the Marksman TV is a big channel, a unique channel. I've loved watching his channel grow into, the weekly gun reviews and all the things he does. And now the guy he's got working there with him, they're funny together. And they really do a good job. Um, it's neat to see the channel evolve. And he's just a good guy, straight shooter, willing to help. I mean, I can only imagine how busy he is with that shop, because we all know what goes on behind the scenes at a gun shop, how much paperwork has to be done at the end of the day, not to mention everything else, ordering, and just, you forget somebody's got to mop the floors and do the bank runs, and do the paychecks and everything else that goes on. And then he's got the time to jump in his car, drive 4 or 5 hours to hang out with just a bunch of guys that are, beginner YouTubers. Um, Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But isn't that most of the gun community? Um, it's a great group we belong to. And enjoy.
Know you're surrounded by good people that are there to help you, steer you in the right direction, do whatever they can. And if anybody's going to make a change to this country and our government and how things are done and our values and the things we hold dear and the things we want our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids to grow up with, it's us and our generation. We're the last ones that can save it, because after our generation, there's such a gap. Hopefully, we're bringing these younger kids and guys in that are in their 20s and 30s, and they're taking what we have to say to heart, knowing that we're just not a bunch of old geezer fuds just spouting off. Hopefully, they take it serious and know how important it is and get involved now before you get to our age, like me and Pillbox, and get it done now. Do something that means something, or you won't have any of this cool stuff. You won't. I promise you. Guys, it has changed so fast. In the blink of an eye, it's changed. Everything's changed. This is not the world we guys like me and Pillbox grew up in. It is not. It's not the government. It's not anything anymore. Nothing is the same. Zero. And when you think about it, it's shocking. It's the play. I'm sorry to tell you guys, this was a much nicer, more caring, and certainly way more fun world. Way more fun. And it's not us being nostalgic or anything like that. It's just the truth. And you guys will see it now because it's moving at light speed. It won't be a couple of years and you guys will be saying, man, it was just 2 years ago we were da, 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 da. And what is going on? Well, before you see that, get involved. Please, please, please take a couple hours of your time and go talk to someone, go find something, go to a meeting, go do some research. When does my town council meet? When does, whatever it is, do something. Something. Go talk to your sheriff. If you like him, say, hey, how do I get involved? How can I help you? Anything. Just do it. It's changing. There's a lot of that being said. I don't want to depress everybody either. There's so many good things going on, but it doesn't stop there. It doesn't. And actually, 2A called me out on it. I don't think he meant to call me out specifically. Maybe he did. But I had said something like, thank God for Bruin, man. It's all over. I didn't say it's all over, but I said, this changes everything. We are in such a better position. And I pretty much sounded like we're good to go. Yeah, and I didn't mean it like that. Bruin's a great thing. But like everything, they'll find a way around it somehow. They're trying like hell. I'm actually shocked that we've had so many wins off of it. But I think it's only because they're scrambling right now. As soon as they get their footing and shake it off a bit, they'll come up with something, and they'll find the right judge in the right state, in the right case, and they'll screw this one up for us too. So the fight goes on. And while it may end for us sort of on the 2A front, it doesn't start on the 2A front. It starts on the other front over here, the election front, the getting involved front, the getting the right people in the right positions front, and getting the people out that are subservient to those that are putting these agendas in place. If we fill the positions, there's nothing for them to fill. There's nothing for them to push. And there's nothing for them to legislate. You follow? So we got to be like they are. We got to move first and faster. And we're behind a couple of steps. So you better kick it in and get moving. Guys, take what I say to heart, please, especially you younger guys. Get involved. Get involved. I can't say it anymore. And I've been saying it way too long now, 3 hours. Holy shit. But I thank y'all. Hopefully I get off this and they've approved my they've monetized my video for me here. Let's see if I can. Let me know if you guys aren't seeing me, but I think you are. I'm just checking to see if they put my monetize my video. Let me get over to where the hell did it go? Here we go. Just take a quick look. If they did monetize it, I will do a premiere right after this. Let's see what they did. Under review. No such luck. Under review. I swear they know when I'm anxious to get one out, and they hold it up, hoping I break, and I just drop it, because that's what I usually do. I just drop it. And they make the money. They still show ads. That's the amazing things. Nobody's interested in, basically that's what it says. Nobody's interested in advertising with your type of content. But yet, every time it runs, there's a commercial. They're getting paid, but I'm not. When I put in the time, effort, money, equipment, everything, and I get pennies anyways, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't know why we do this. I know why we do it. It ain't for the money, let me tell you. It's a shame it isn't, because 2A knows if he had any channel other than a gun channel, if he reviewed ironing boards, the texture, how slick they are. Look at that baby glide. Woo. He could quit his main job. Pick the subject. If his channel was any other subject with his subscribers, his watch hours, his views, he could do it as a full-time living. No problem. No problem. Unfortunately, neither of us are much, we don't like ironing too much. So unfortunately, the ironing board thing's out. But I'm thinking meat slicers. Meat slicers. That might be it. Yep. Meat slicers and scales. Scales are pretty neat. I like scales. I don't like stepping on them, but antique scales are pretty cool. Maybe I'll do an antique scale or antique egg scales. I used to collect those. So that's fun. I don't have them anymore. I'd like to have one. Anyhow, guys, enough of the irons and egg scales. We're gun channels, unfortunately, so we're poor, broken, desperate. With no sponsors and nobody sending us anything. And yeah, you know how it goes. I'm sorry to get into the comments as much tonight. I got on some rants, but it's so good to see all of you people in here from 2AEDU and a lot of new people in here. If I didn't mention you, it sure is good to see you all in here. I am only 2 hours drive from Westfield, Indiana. Oh, that's cool, man. I got to go to his shop one day. I want to see it. And he's got some stuff that comes in there that I want so bad to call and just say, hey, I'll take that. I'd really like to get down there and see the whole deal. Maybe I could make that run one day or meet you down there. In 2A, that's what I'm talking about. Susan Wiki would like anything really enjoy. Yeah. I'm shocked she didn't jump in here tonight, aren't you? I really am. There are a few things that I went, ooh, a little too spicy. But hey, oh, that's the other thing. My brother got me a cool shirt. My brother's with the rock band Styx. Has been for almost 30 years. And their sound guy is into cool stuff. And they were in Vegas or something. And he sent me a shirt for my birthday. I got it yesterday. And it's the album cover of Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance. But it's got an 8K and some other stuff. It says Screaming for Kalash. And it's from Rifle Dynamics. And he stopped in there and got me the shirt. Or his buddy did, and he was along with, and he's like, oh, this must be like my brother talks about Krebs. I'm like, you were there and you didn't, So anyways, I was going to wear it tonight, and I was running late for the stream. So you'll see it in the next video, but it's really cool. Who'd have thunk it? Judas Priest and an AK shop all in one. Pretty neat. Anyhow, thanks again, guys. Thanks for everything. Please go visit 28EDU. Go check him out. Check out Chris at Marksman TV. Hey, check out Rockford Ordnance, would you? Go in and make some comments and like a few things. We got a lot of videos, tons of. I can't believe how many videos I got when I go in and look. And we got new stuff coming. Watch for the one coming out on the Arrow, and I got the video on the 22s coming. I'm actually going to shoot some footage for that tomorrow. Tonight I cleaned up my 1022, which I don't think in the 20 years I've had it, this was the first time it was cleaned out of stock. I took it apart. I'm like, oh, that's how these things come apart. Ah, how the hell you get this bolt and spring back in? Damn, that was the pain in the rear to figure out. Anyhow, I knew how it went back together. It was just hard to do it until I figured it out. It's like everything. It's super hard till all of a sudden something moves. Oh, plop, and it all goes right in. That's how you do that. But so I cleaned that up, and I cleaned up the Mossberg Plinksters, and my who makes it? It's from where Taurus makes all their stuff. I forget the name of the country, but it's a remake of the Winchester Pump 22, where you can hold the trigger and just pump it. I can't remember if this was made by. It's not Beretta. I don't know. But you'll see that one in there. You'll see that old family heirloom gun from the early 1900s. The single shot I got that I restored and put all the new parts in and everything. We're going to shoot that. Might as well bring our Glock 44 with and run that. And Ivor Johnson 22 pistol and a few other things. Some cool old stuff and fun stuff. And I love shooting my 1022 and going to bring my son's Plinkster with and shoot the crap out of that. That's always fun because I remember him shooting it and how much fun he had that Christmas. Man, that was a great morning. Best morning of my life, giving that kid that gun for his first gun for Christmas. It was awesome. So we're going to go enjoy that. And yeah, I got 22 single action too. I might as well bring the Heritage, and I might as well bring the North American Arms, right? So we'll have all 22 days. So it's going to be really cool. And we're going to go through a couple, at least 1,000 rounds, I bet, and have a good time. And you guys will see just how accurate that Plinkster is. It's an amazing gun for how cheap it is. But yeah, so watch for that. I'm going 22 shooting tomorrow. And that's about it. Deer season's coming up. Starts Saturday. Going to be hunting Saturday. I think Illinois is weird. Does it start on Friday? I don't know. I don't hunt Illinois. Screw that. Shotguns for deer. What are they talking about? Yeah, last year I hunted with the 45 long Colt. I'll either do that again or probably. I think the 30-30. I'm going to hunt the 30-30 this year. Like I've hunted I've hunted every year with my 30-30, other than last year was the 45 Colt in my Henry. But I started reloading 30-30, and I got some pretty cool rounds with the Leverushian bullets and all that I loaded up. So we're going to bring that with tomorrow too. So I make sure that's sighted in for Saturday morning. And see if we can't get us some back straps on the grill. Yeah, it should be a fun weekend. We'll see. Son-in-law's coming with, and my daughter. Hopefully, my wife. I think she's staying home. She don't want to go out, so we'll see. I don't know, but yeah, let us know where you're going deer hunting, and we'll see you guys soon. As always, Rockford Ordnance out. Thanks, guys, for everything. It was a true joy tonight, and the whole get-together was a blast, and I thank all of you. Love every one of you. Thanks very much, and make sure you thank Linda for me. Have a good one.